That's right. Is that a right?
Again,
should that be right?
Again, your grievance is with the employers.
Should that be right? If
your
you're
grievance,
a citizen, you should be treated
bro,
as a fucking slave in this country.
Just calm down for a second. Would I rather date a fat girl or a black girl? The fat girl.
Why?
Because the black girl's gonna be fat anyway.
You can logic your way through.
Well, that's how things work, is logic. I'm operating on logic. You're operating on feeling, and that's the problem. And this is why women shouldn't be in positions of power. No offense.
This is why women shouldn't be in positions.
Yeah, this
of power.
this conversation right now actually perfectly demonstrates.
Women should not be in positions of power.
Yeah, yeah. Coming to you guys live from Penn State, out in Pennsylvania, out in the boonies. I got a sign here that says ICE did nothing wrong. Today is October 14th, the birthday of Charlie Kirk, and today's show is going to be dedicated to him. Actually, I have my Freedom shirt on, but it's really cold up here in the Northeast. I haven't dealt with this cold in a while. But, I think it's very important that, we continue to have these discussions, right? If you're not willing to say things, and if you're too worried about, offending people, then we can't really have real discourse. Because for ideas to actually be tested and get to the truth, you have to be willing to have tough conversations. And I think that's what Charlie stood for. And in memorial of him, we're going to make sure that we make this a good one. We're going to keep coming out to these campuses. And, for me, just a quick little background. You guys know I started doing the college stuff roughly around late last year. Or actually, no, last spring. And we had done a few schools. And the day that Charlie was assassinated, tragically, the next day I actually had UNC, University of North Carolina, Asheville, lined up. And I had to cancel it, right then and there. And I remember a million people sending me texts like, hey, man, you good? What's going on? Because everyone knew I had literally a college speech the next day. And a lot of people said, hey, man, you got to stop going to these colleges. You got to stop doing X, Y, Z. And I said, you know what? No, man, we're gonna keep pushing. We're going to keep Charlie's memory alive. We're not going to let these weirdos scare us away from having these difficult conversations, even if it means that we got to take a risk. And that's just life in general, right? So you're going to live on your feet or die on your knees, right? That's what it really comes down to. But yeah, guys, I see some of you guys here. If any of you guys want to come on up to the mic, if you agree, disagree, you want to have a conversation about it, let me know. Don't be scared. I promise I won't make fun of you. But yeah, everybody could come up. Yeah. What's up, man? Yo.
Grab the mic, or do I just hold it up to my face?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to be fully transparent. I fully agree with you. I totally agree with what ICE is doing. But I do have a question related to Charlie Kirk, if that's okay.
Sure.
And there's sort of a preamble because I do have a channel on YouTube. It's mainly related to movie reviews and stuff. But Charlie Kirk's assassination really affected me in a very profound and deep way because on this campus, I used to be a part of a lot of conservative groups, including Turning Point USA. And they held events here, Charlie Kirk was here. So the fact that he was assassinated on a college campus really shows that how it could really happen anywhere, at least to me. But people in my sphere of movie reviewers, I saw a lot of large personalities saying that he deserved it, and that frankly horrified me. And some would even post videos saying using malicious out of context clips that you're probably aware of. They would say he encouraged an attack on Paul Pelosi, when if you look at the full context, he was making he was making a comment on how horrific our bail reform laws are, where if you're a violent criminal, you can be out with on no cash bail and reoffend. But if you're a rich politician like the Pelosi's, you get a pat. They're not given that luxury, and they're just held indefinitely. And another one would be would be when people said that he said an anti-Chinese slur when he was talking to Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. Pretty stupid. But I would point out hey, there's more to this. There's a lot of disinformation being spread around it, and they would say that I'm an apologist for racism anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, transphobia, etc. And they wouldn't say that he outright deserved to be assassinated, but they said that he kind of got what was coming by doing what he was doing. And I'm just wondering how much of this is like genuinely from their how much of this is genuinely their opinion or what they're being told, because a lot of their opinions come from Hollywood, right? So to what degree is Hollywood radicalizing a lot of people to think like that, to look at like half the country as Nazis, or to essentially radicalize them? And
yeah.
And what would you say are like the worst like lessons they're being that's being fed to the masses, and what sort of messaging you would use or say to counter signal that sort of messaging?
Yeah, so the problem is this, right? So this is what progressives, liberals, whatever they want to call themselves, I call them retards, but what they basically do is they need to dehumanize your position first so that they can go ahead and either enact violence on you without feeling bad, or because they look at you as subhuman, or B, to say, we don't even want to talk to you because you're a Nazi or whatever. So here's the thing with the left. It's actually like a deflection tactic. They know that they can't actually sit down and debate a conservative most of the time, right? Are we right about everything? No. But we're right about a lot more things than they are, because we tend to be on the side of reality, right? There's two genders. You can't go sit here and take a boy and turn him into a girl. It just doesn't work that way, right? Blacks commit a disproportionate amount of crime. Jews have too much power. Women are stupid. So they get pissed off when you say this stuff, and they don't want to necessarily have a conversation, because what you end up doing is you destroy their fake world reality when you're discussing these topics, especially if you do it in a manner that's candid and frank. So instead of actually debating and having their worldview destroyed by reality, they have to label you a Nazi or some other pejorative term, right? So that they can justify in their head that you're not worthy of debating, right? And this is what they do. And in some extreme cases, they think, oh, violence is totally condoned against these people because they're not human. So that's the ideology that they operate in. Because, you know, and I know a lot of people hate Destiny, but one thing I will give him credit for is that he'll sit and debate conservatives. Most of these guys on the left don't. All the biggest left-wing political commentators and progressives, they don't do debates. They just sit in their room, analyze the news, have Trump derangement syndrome, say conservatives suck, or right-wingers are, you know, bigots or whatever, and that's it. They don't want to sit across the table and actually debate us most of the time. So, you know, so if we're going to go ahead and fix this problem, I think coming over to the college campuses and talking with the new America, because all these people are here at the school. This is the future of the United States. And the problem with these universities is we have way too much woke indoctrination, right? And I could say this as someone that went to a prestigious school in the Northeast, Northeastern, 6% acceptance rates, whatever, which is super woke in Boston, Massachusetts. I see the problem getting worse. And this is back when I graduated in 2013. So I think we need to really, and this is why what Charlie was doing was so great, because he was coming into these college campuses and having these discussions and kind of waking up students as to how the world really works. Because when you're here in a college campus, you're a student, and I was a student athlete, I lived on campus, I had the whole experience. You don't live in the real world. You're not paying taxes. You don't got to watch yourself when you're on the train around blacks. You don't got to, do any of this stuff. You're in a very safe and secure campus, and you don't have to deal with a lot of the problems real world problems that people do. So that's where I think the left falters. They're just not realistic, and they're not relatable to a lot of people, right? Especially to men. Kamala Harris wrote in her book that me and Andrew Tate, hurt her election, her presidential campaign election. But the reality is that she said we took all the young men because we were misogynistic, whatever. But what she doesn't understand is that she never had the young men. The left does not identify with young men. Like everything that men do, especially white men, is considered evil, bad, bigoted, racist, Nazi, blah, blah. So, the Democrats lost on their own, and that's their fault. But yeah, that's what I would say, just to kind of sum up the problems that we have on the left and how we've gotten here.
All right. Well, thank you.
No worries, man. Thank you. I hope that answers the question. Anybody else want to come on up? Say what's up. Agree, disagree. ICE did nothing wrong. Jews control America. Blacks commit crimes. Women, for the most part, are stupid. Need to put them back in the kitchen. Don't be scared, guys. Got a couple y'all out here. You agree, disagree. If you agree, you could come up and say why you agree. Wasn't one of the guys who someone was antagonizing you guys earlier, right? Yeah. Hey, Mr. Bandana, come on up to the mic, man. I know that you're not too happy that we're here. We can have a respectful discussion. Yeah, dude, I don't bite. We can have a legit conversation. I think this is the important thing: is having two different ideologies, being discussed, and then the people can decide what they want. But that's the only way that we get to the truth. I can yap about it all what? There's no debate about it? Why not? Okay, come say that on the mic so they can all hear you. Bro, did I not just say 10 minutes ago that liberals don't like to debate? Did I not just say that? This is being proven literally right now. Dude, we're live right now. There's no clip farming. This is streamed. This is live. So nothing is going to get clip farmed. You're literally going to be live. We can't, the footage is there. So you're not going to get clip farm, man. Well, that kind of proves my point. I told you guys the left doesn't like to debate, bro. What did I say? I mean, it's You want to, dude, just come to the mic because they can't hear you. He said I will debate you after culture wars. What? We're not going to bring the mic to you. Dude, it's right there. Yeah, it's live. Okay, can you come to the mic so they can hear you? You're asking about H2A visa workers. Come. They can't hear you. No, they can't hear you. Okay, this guy.
I'm having a harder time hearing you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he doesn't care about they anymore. Aren't you supposed to like they, them? Aren't you supposed to like they, them? I'm confused.
May I translate?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, he's your mouthpiece now. Go ahead. Someone has balls. Go ahead.
You getting that, Myron? Your retort.
I don't
Are
know.
you finished?
That's it?
Está
Look,
terminado.
the only reason, so for the audience that's listening in right now, watching, he was harassing the guys here as they were setting up. So I'm like, look, dude, if you were definitely harassing one of my guys, which is fine. I don't have there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with people. Let me make this very clear. You have your worldviews, that's fine. I respect your worldviews, and I think that, and I would fight actually to have your worldviews defended, whether I agree with them or not. That's what makes this country great. So, okay, then come say it on the mic, dude, so they can hear you. No, actually, hold on. You know what's funny? He's talking about Mahmoud Khalil, for those of you that are wondering. It's funny that you said that. You must...
You said you defend my free speech.
Yep.
But you support ICE detaining somebody for using their free speech?
Okay.
That's fucked up.
Getting emotional. Okay. So let me actually address... Do you watch my content, bro? Probably not, right? That's fine. You probably don't.
I've seen that shit.
Okay, you've seen some clips. So it's funny you mentioned Mahmoud Khalil. So let me. Here's the thing with Mahmoud Khalil. I actually don't like that they did that. I actually took his side. I actually said that getting deported or getting put in ICE custody for making comments and being critical of Israel is a big problem. I defend the First Amendment even if I disagree with the individual. So yeah, you're wrong on that take, bro, because I literally have been one of the biggest advocates for him not getting deported because I think anti-Semitism laws are a big problem. And this is what I mean when I say Jews control America. No other group of people would be able to get someone deported, right, for speech, political speech, besides the Zionist lobby and the Jews. But look, now he's going to walk away. I'm not clip farming, bro. You're the one embarrassing yourself by not wanting to get on the mic. Okay, this is coward. All right, that's fine. That's fine, bro. It's fine. You were wrong on the Mahmoud Khalil position. You're scared to come up on the mic. You can antagonize my guys behind the scenes, but once the cameras are on and you can actually have your ideology pushed out, you don't want to do it. And that's the problem with the left. You guys literally just chirp from the background, don't have real discussions, can't defend your belief systems. I'm not even talking to you anymore. I'm just talking about leftists in general. I'm talking to leftists in general. So, yeah. Okay, so
don't fucking talk to me and get the fuck out. Get out. Nobody's talking to you. No one's debating.
You're a fucking retard. That's what I got to say. You're a fucking retard. Like, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, buddy, but you're a fucking retard. Okay? This is the problem with America right here. Fucking pussies like this guy, right? That quite literally can't stand on their beliefs, can talk all the shit from the side, but they're fucking cowards and can't actually defend their belief system within the crucible of debate. You've been acting like a woman the whole fucking time, getting emotional, raising your voice, being rude and disrespectful, not defending your ideology. You're a typical retarded leftist. This is why they call them libtards. And the reality is we got to call you fucking dumbasses out. I'm not the guy, buddy. Okay? I can practice decorum and everything else like that, but when I see retards, mouth-breathing fucking morons like you got to call it out. Window-licking fucking retards. No, we got to call it what it is. We got to call it what it is. You're a coward and a window-licking retard. So it is what it is. Anyway, anyone else want to come up on the mic? We could discuss retards, how we got to put them back in asylums. We could discuss why women are inferior to men. We could discuss how Jews control America, how blacks commit too much crime, how ISIS did nothing wrong. If you agree, disagree, don't be scared to come up on the mic. Even if you agree, you could come on up and give us your take. They don't want to get called a retard. Oh, there you go. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's your
I
name?
might not stay for long. My name's Ashton.
Nice to meet you, Ashley. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I was just wondering, I heard you say women are inferior to men.
Yes.
I've never heard that take before, so I wanted to know why you would say that.
Sure. When I say that women are inferior to men, what I mean by that is that we're superior. And what I mean by that is that the world and everything that we've come to pretty much learn to love and enjoy was created by men. Women don't really provide the same level of structure and innovation that men do. 90% plus of inventions that we've been able to, modernize the world with were created by men. Men lead, women follow. Now, this isn't to say that men have inherent more. This isn't to say that men have more value, like more life value. Obviously, we're all human. We're all equal in that regard, right? When it comes to dignity and humanity, etc. But when it comes to the responsibilities of a society, being the leaders, being the protectors, men are superior in that regard, and the things that matter. And I'd take it a step further. I think the reason why we need to be superior is because women are subordinates to us, and we are responsible for protecting them. Right? I don't think women should work. I don't think they should be focusing on, getting an education, getting a career. Though I do understand we're in modern times and inflation is tough. I don't have a problem with a woman pursuing school and a career, but that should take a back seat to finding a man and creating a family, and then leaving the workforce as soon as you're able to do so.
Sure. Okay, but the word superior is implying better than, right? You say that men don't have more value, but you are better than women because
that's a fact.
You lead things.
Yes, we're physically superior. Most geniuses are men. Most inventors are men. Men are just better than women at almost everything.
That is not true. That's how society was set up over a long period of
Okay,
time.
what are women better at men than?
Emotional intelligence.
Define emotional intelligence.
Understanding other people's emotions, being emotionally aware, providing with support. And this is proven. I've taken leadership classes about effective leadership, and women are more effective leaders when it comes to emotional needs. Men are better at meeting logistical needs, and that's why we need both and women to succeed.
Okay, so then
that is true.
Why isn't the world female run then, if that's the case?
Because men typically meet those leadership needs, which is why.
Because we're better leaders.
Maybe so, but that doesn't mean you're superior. You might be superior.
By definition, you're superior. If we are better leaders, we're superior.
At keeping the human race going. Women who give birth. We're much superior at.
Well, you need a man to do that.
Right.
So that's not women by themselves. You need a man to have a kid.
Absolutely, you do. But
yeah,
women are the reason why children exist. Without women giving birth, children would not exist.
Well, you need sperm to do it. It's a two-part thing. It's not something that's exclusive only to women. You need a man to do it. But there's many things men can do that women simply can't.
And there's things women can do that men
can't have kids,
do.
but you literally need a man to do that too.
Right, but you
and
need
men are
both
physically
to
superior.
Succeed.
What's that?
And women are superior in so many other ways, as I
like
just
what?
said.
Emotional intelligence?
Yes, it's true. It is literally proven. I wish I could tell you the study off the top of my head, but I just literally took a class on this,
Look.
and it is proven. Like,
Look,
that's true.
being able to be more emotional, when you're getting your cramps during your period, doesn't mean that you're superior. I would argue
that's
that's
insulting and is not what I'm saying.
it-
Emotional intelligence, I mean, if you are someone's manager, you can understand where they are coming from to better meet their needs, to come to a solution of a
so.
problem
Why is it
that, you're
that
having.
most women prefer male bosses then?
I would disagree with that.
Most women, when polled, prefer male bosses.
Well, because maybe men are natural leaders, which is okay.
There you go, which is why we're superior.
And I'm not debating that men are natural leaders, but that does not make you superior.
But if we are better,
There's no correlation there.
by using the word better, you're implying superiority.
Leader is one thing in life. How many things can you
We're
be
better
in
than you
life?
guys at everything.
How many things are there to be
We're better
good
than
at
you guys
in
at
life?
sports. We're better cooks. We're better cleaners even. Men run
are not
sanitation.
Better cooks, better cleaners.
Oh, the best chefs are all men.
You're just like
The only
pulling
thing women
things
could really
out.
do that's better is maybe make a sandwich. But if we got like a top chef to do it, he would still probably win.
Do
If
you
we're going to be
understand that
honest,
people
like,
are individuals.
what was that?
Every people are individual people.
Of course, but I'm speaking in general.
I might be a better cook than you. You know.
Well, that's your job.
You just said men are better cooks.
Well, yeah, at the top, at the pinnacle,
You
male
can't
chefs.
even look. You
Male-
can't even
at the
keep
pinnacle,
your facts
male
straight.
chefs.
Look, yeah.
At the pinnacle, okay, of chefs, they're all male dominated.
Okay.
And I think like women should be cooking, so it's not really like my job. But even when men go into a field that is female dominated, we're better.
That's not true.
I just
I'm not going to
demonstrated.
entertain this anymore, but that's not
Okay.
true. I feel bad for you.
You feel
Have a
bad? You
good
couldn't
one.
refute anything I said. Yeah, that's pretty much that's feminism for you guys.
And thank you for getting up to the mic for our.
Yeah. No, the good sport. I know she was nervous. Thanks for coming on. What's up?
I watch a lot of your stuff on YouTube.
Yeah,
Very entertaining.
I
Very
appreciate that, man.
entertaining.
Thank you.
All of what you've done with Sneeko and
Yeah.
Zerka, and the biggest thing that you do is you get people to think differently, which
Absolutely.
is something
Appreciate
that
that.
everyone can have admiration for. What are your thoughts on the T app? This is something that it's come
The
out
T-app.
recently.
Oh yes, the one that was like
it's
exposing
anonymous,
guys.
exposing. There's women in the T app now, like a women's version now. I'm curious to think what you have to say.
Yeah,
about that.
no, I mean the T-app demonstrates the insane double standard we have in society, where women are able to objectify men with no consequence. Meanwhile, men are not able to objectify women, right? Or especially when women objectify themselves. If we're going to be honest, these girls dress like sluts, and then expect you to, respect them. It's like it's ridiculous.
There's a male version now for women.
For women,
So it's a two-sided thing.
yeah. When did it come out? And it didn't.
It's been this is all recent within
Okay.
the last year.
The thing is that because there's many different reiterations of this. Like Facebook came out with it before, where it was like, oh, are we dating the
Yeah.
same guy, etc. Like, so the reality is that women are able to criticize, compartmentalize, and attack men with very little, consequence. But like for men, like you can definitely get fired from your job, get in trouble, whatever it may be. Like it's okay to, punch up on men like a piñata, but it's not okay to do it on women. As a matter of fact, this is why so many women are delusional, is because they never get criticized, right? So, and that's another thing too, I think, is that I think women live life on easy mode, especially in 2025. They have more advantages. They have more opportunities than men do by far. Okay, all right. I guess anybody else want to come up to mic? If you guys agree, disagree, want to make a point, want to have a talk. The topics are, we could go anywhere. ICE did nothing wrong. Women are dumb. Jews control America, and that's not good. Muslims are terrorists. I don't know. What's up?
What do you think as far as like building a brand, a self-brand? Do you think it's really important for young people to get into that? You've obviously done that, and all
Yeah.
these people in your relationship group have done that. What would you say is the biggest thing you notice about like people like all these influential people, Zerka, Andrew Tate, Sneeko, the people that you're around? What's a similar trait that you notice about all of them?
The number one thing is authenticity. Authenticity. If you're authentic, what's going to end up happening is a lot of people are going to be able to relate to you. If a lot of people can relate to you, they're going to trust you. If they're going to trust you, they're going to like you. Then if they like you, then they're going to want to watch you. So this is why, like, I, call a spade, whether it's, I use slurs, right? It is what it is. We all know what words I'm talking about. We're on YouTube, so I try to keep it somewhat clean. But yeah, like that is the number one thing is authenticity, especially in today's day and age where so many people are fake. So that's the number one thing. And this is why guys like me and Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, Nico, all my buddies, that's why we've all been able to be fairly successful. Now, with that said, it goes to a level because you can't become like an A-list type celebrity or be like super huge while being base. It just can't happen. You'll get clipped. You'll get banned, right? Because Andrew Tate took over in 2022. What'd they do? They banned him everywhere, right? So, which, by the way, I know you guys have been asking me. Andrew's going to be in America soon. He'll come on the show. Don't worry. Okay? So, man, I hope that answers your question. But authenticity, brother, is the main thing.
Yeah. I have a disagreement now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. So I trust you heard about the firing of Kingman Lee, the conservative commentator on Twitter, over his posts.
What was that?
You know who Kingman Lee is, right? The South Korean conservative commentator.
No.
Okay. So he's a guy who worked on a college campus. Oh, sorry. He's a guy who worked on a college campus but was fired for his posts. Some of which were pretty funny. He said fat people shouldn't exist, and they said that was like a calls for genocide or some shit. But other posts were like about how we should repeal the 19th Amendment. That's only I don't think he should have been fired, but that's not something I personally agree with. But
I think we should repeal the 19th. I don't think women should have the right to vote. I agree.
Do you think you could explain why?
Why? Okay, so my position on the 19th Amendment, which is the right to vote for women, basically the reason why I say I think we should repeal it is because, well, number one, women are single issue voters, right? They vote typically for whoever's going to let them be a whore and kill babies, typically is what they do, which tends to be Democrats. Number two, women have no skin in the game. I find it absolutely preposterous that women are able to vote for the commander-in-chief who runs the military, who can send us to wars, but they have no skin in the game and don't have to go to war because men have to be in the selective service. A bunch of students here probably got loans or financial aid or whatever. That financial aid was contingent upon you guys being in a selective service, I'm sure, especially if you're a U.S. citizen, right? See a couple guys nodding along. Mm-hmm. So I find it preposterous that women are able to vote without having skin in the game, right? Now, we could take it a step further, right? We could say, well, a lot of guys are stupid too and they shouldn't vote, which I would actually agree to that. Maybe we can impart like a civics exam or something like that before people vote. But I think with women, it just doesn't make sense, and they don't have skin in the game. Now, if she joins the military, gets some kind of government service or whatever it may be, then we could talk about that. But I'm a firm believer that if you don't have skin in the game, you shouldn't have a seat at the table.
Yeah. Well, if the state is going to impose force on citizens, no matter who they are, through taxes and threatening force if they don't pay the taxes, wouldn't you say that women, along with everyone else, has a skin in the game?
Yeah, you can make that argument, but they don't have the same skin in the game as we do. They might pay taxes and stuff, but they don't have the inherent skin in the game when it comes to serving in the military, which is what the president is.
Okay.
Right? The most important, political figure in the country.
Right. Well, are there any other ways that they could have a skin in the game without necessarily serving in combat, like serving as nurses or stuff like that?
I think if they join the military, number one, I think it should be one standard. I don't think we should water down standards so women could get in, because I think this whole woke ideology of let's focus on inclusivity versus performance, I think that's a very bad mantra. And whether people want to accept it or not, I think China is one of the biggest. Well, the biggest threat to America is Israel. But once we handle the Israeli problem, oh God. Once we handle the Jewish/Zionist problem, then we could go ahead and focus on China, because I think China is rapidly expanding to a significant degree. Meanwhile, we're over here fighting wars in the Middle East for Israel, right, which is a big problem. We've been not focusing on the Far East, where we should be putting our resources. So.
You say that we should be more like China. Well, I'm pretty uneducated.
Well, no, not be more like, but like combat them.
Oh, okay.
Their growing influence and power.
Okay, well, do you think that's in part with how they treat women? Do you think they treat them like better or lesser than they do here? Like, not in terms of how do you say, like humane in a humane way, but just like an ethical way, like in terms of the country standards.
Well, they're not as poisoned. I mean, feminism is seeping everywhere, but they're not as poisoned by feminism as we are here, which I would argue feminism is the root cause of almost every problem in every society. Right? Because what ends up happening is so feminism used to be about equality between the genders, but now what it's become is a superiority between the genders in favor of women. But the problem is that we're giving women the favor when women aren't better than men at anything.
Okay.
Right? So it's like
It's
the analogy I'll use is like, let's say you have like a, you have like a kid or whatever, right? My buddy Elijah always says this. Elijah Shaper, shout out to you, man. If you have like a kid, right, and they make like this painting with their fingers, right, and it looks like crap, but they give it to you and you're like, oh my God, this is so great. That's kind of how it is with women. Oh, it's so great that you're getting education and stuff, but do we really need someone else that has a liberal studies degree? Like, does it matter? Like, what is this? Or underwater basket weaving? Doesn't make sense. So that's kind of how I view women in the workforce and everything else like that. But but feminism it tells us to like encourage that. Like, yeah, like totally make that finger paint picture and let's go ahead and say it's awesome and it's Picasso, even though it sucks.
One last question. In China, like they have like a quote unquote like freer market as long as it benefits the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it goes against the state, like whatever private company operating in China does, then the Chinese government immediately liquidates all of their assets.
Yeah,
right?
that's a problem.
Yeah. But
That's why capitalism is so great.
Yeah. But would you say that like feminism in China kind of works in a similar way, where the female empowerment is meant to go towards the state and not towards the individual? And would you say that's like more of what feminism is here in the United States?
Great point. Yeah, that's a communitarian type style, right? Which I don't think works for the most part. I think that's like, if you want to be like able to like make money, that's why people love America so much and come here, even though like we have all the problems that we have. People come here because of the financial opportunity in the capitalistic society that we have, where if you're willing to work hard, you can get ahead here, right? Mm-hmm. There's no excuse to not be successful in America. And other countries, unfortunately, don't have that. But yes, that style of governance is, whether it's Marxism, socialism to a degree, communism, like tends to lean more on like how women operate. Because one thing I've noticed about women, one of the biggest differences after talking to like 3,000 to 4,000 different girls on my show is women have a difficulty with understanding hierarchy. Right. Mm-hmm. So like with men, right, if a guy does, the best guy, okay, you did the best today, you get $10. You did the second best, you get $8. You did the third, you get $7. With women, it's like you get $1, you get $1, you get $1, you get $1, regardless of performance. Mm-hmm. And I think that creates inherent problems as well. But this is because hierarchy is not really a structure for women. Because like for us, right, I'll explain what I mean by this. For men to get laid and get sexual access, we must rise up to the occasion, right? We're on a college campus right here, right? Who gets laid the most? The athletes, the frat guys. Why? Because they have status and they're on a hierarchy level. So a regular girl that no one knows, has no friends, can go to a college party here, meet one of the top athletes at one of these parties and one of the top frat guys and get smashed because her hierarchy doesn't matter to the male, mm-hmm. to the male. But the male's hierarchy absolutely matters to her. So this is why women don't have a fundamental understanding of hierarchy, because it's not required for them to procreate like it is for us. So we inherently know, you walk into a room with a bunch of guys, if there's a multimillionaire in there or a guy that has some type of status, all the guys naturally respect that guy and defer to his authority to a degree. Women don't operate that way. When they walk into a room, it's kind of like everyone's equal, yeah, unless like one girl's fat or whatever, that's a whole other conversation. But they don't understand hierarchy when it comes to competence. It's very difficult for them to understand it because they don't have, their ability to procreate is not contingent upon their position within the hierarchy versus ours is. So we have to be cognizant of it at all times.
All right. Thank you for answering my question.
No worries, man. I hope that answered. Anybody else want to come on up? Oh, Mr. Lib is still there. Yeah, what's up, brother? Love the flag.
Thank you.
America only, my friends.
Yes, sir. So I got one question and then I got to go.
Sure, absolutely.
But
and thank you for your service.
Thank you. What is your take on the rape allegations against Andrew Tate?
Bullshit. Complete bullshit. And I can say that with 100% confidence. So back in 2022, late 2022, I spent a month at their house in Romania. They opened their home up to me and I hung out with them. And when these allegations came out of them human trafficking or holding women against their will, it was comical because I remember when I would go out with them or whatever, we'd have like after parties back at their house and they would tell the girls to leave and they wouldn't want to leave. So I was like, well, what do you mean they're human trafficking? Like, bro, the girls don't want to leave. So, and people think that they're like crazy misogynists or whatever. But the reality is like they treat women really well. right? Even when girls were disrespecting them at the house, they got them taxis, made sure they got home safe, all that stuff, you know. So Andrew and Tristan are above board, you know, honorable men. They're very respectful of women, contrary to what people think. And, you know, I think, you know, when you're an inherently masculine guy and you got your stuff together, whatever, and you understand that men and women aren't equal, you're going to tend to defer more to being a gentleman versus being a scumbag. It's just that people think that by embracing your masculinity, it makes you toxic. But I think that's actually what women want. So, but it's bullshit, man. It's been going on for a while, and you can see, like, nothing's actually come of it. No worries, man. Great question. And thanks for helping us set up earlier, by the way, too, man. Anybody else want to come on up? We can discuss anything. We can talk about why ICE did nothing wrong, why men are superior to women, how Jews have too much power. I don't know. Oh, someone want to say something? What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Welcome to the mic.
Yeah, that's whatever, man. I'm just curious on your opinion.
Sure.
What do you think about the new Israel-Palestine deal?
Look, I'm glad that the genocide is over because it's stopping the genocide temporarily, because it is a genocide despite what people want to say, right? These crazy Israelis, you know, oh, it's not a genocide. Oh, yeah, it's not happening. It's crazy. But then they get mad when you question a certain event from the 1940s. But anyway, right? It's like they deny a genocide, right, that's happening in 4K. Meanwhile, they'll get fucking butthurt if you say it's anything less than 6 million. So, but to answer your question, I think it's temporary. I mean, Israel already kind of broke the ceasefire this morning. Yeah. But at least the genocide for the most part is done, and they're getting trucks in there. But you can't trust the Israelis to do anything, man, because the problem is that they have no accountability. And the reason why they have no accountability is because they control our government. I mean, Trump was at the Knesset like yesterday praising Miriam Adelson, saying that the Adelsons went to the White House more than other people and how she has all this money and all this other stuff. It's like literally he's admitting that we're owned by Israel, right? So, you know, oh, yeah, she came in and said we need to move the embassy to Jerusalem, all this other crap. So recognizing the Golan Heights, and this is because they have a ridiculous amount of influence. So since they have a ridiculous amount of influence in America and they lobby our politicians, they never get held accountable for their, you know, cowboy-style foreign policy. I mean, the fact that they bombed Qatar is fucking nuts. Like, that's one of our closest allies in the Middle East with our biggest military base, and they bombed them because the heads of Hamas were there. So they thought they had intel that they were going to, you know, have a meeting on the peace deal. The Israelis took that intel and they bombed them to try to get rid of them. They failed, made themselves look like an idiot, and then hurt us in the process. And then what did we have to do? Now we had to bend the knee and allow Qatari servicemen to basically be here in the United States and train and basically effectively open like damn near a military base for the Qataris here in America. And I guarantee that was because after the Israelis bombed them and we couldn't protect them, we had to sign an agreement with them, which basically has like a NATO type effect where an attack on them is an attack on us, right, to assure their security. And we're also opening up this base on their behalf. So this is what Israeli foreign policy does, where it puts us in a compromising situation with our allies where in exchange for them not retaliating against Israel, we have to make concessions on the other side. Hurts us diplomatically. And then on top of that, Saudi Arabia signed a deal with Pakistan, where an attack on Saudi Arabia is considered an attack on Pakistan, and Pakistan's our nuclear armed power, pushing them further into the Russian and Chinese realm of influence. So, you know, people will sit there and be like, oh, yeah, they bombed Qatar. You know, it isn't that big a deal. But it is because it has other trickle-down effects politically that put us in a very bad situation.
So how do you think we stop this? Like, how do we get IPAC out? How do we push them out of here?
I'll be honest, we got to remove Jews from government. Like, it's like you know, dual alliance Zionist Jews, they need to get removed from government. Like, you should not be able to hold a Israeli passport or have allegiance to another country if you're going to be a government employee, especially if you carry a clearance. We need to get rid of all the neocons. We need people that are not just America first, but America only, right? Because what they'll try to do is they'll try to conflate, oh, yeah, well, you know, supporting Israel is America first because they're our greatest ally in the region, blah, blah. No, get the fuck out of here. Like, half the problems that we have in the Middle East is because of our, you know, alignment with Israel and their recklessness. So I think we need politicians in that have an America-only policy, not even just America first. And dual allegiance Israelis with dual citizenship, big problem. Need to get them out of the government.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
No worries, man. Great question. I like that hoodie, man. Recipes to Charlie. What's
How's
up,
it
man?
going?
What's up, brother?
So I just wanted to ask, like, what's your how should I say this? So I'm the only conservative in all my classes. And what would you say to somebody who's trying to combat liberal ideology on a daily basis with your professors? How would you go about that, and how could pretty much I can,
Yeah, no worries. Number one, understand that you're not alone. There's a lot of people that think like you, and, kudos to you for coming up and admitting you're conservative on a college campus as a student. Much respect. But there's plenty of guys like you, it's just that they might not be as vocal about it. Now, when it comes to college professors, it's a part of the game, unfortunately, right? For them to get tenured, for them to get the position, for them to, move up the ranks, they need to have this, leftist indoctrination mindset for them to move up. So I think part of it is self-preservation, and then the other side of it is fairly delusion. So that's why I think it really comes down to when it comes to that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No worries, man. Who else? Come on over, guys. Okay, you want to come on up? All right, man. Awesome. All right. Much respect to you for coming up on the mic.
All right. Do you know about the H-2A program for agricultural workers in the U.S.?
I'm somewhat familiar with it.
Okay, so the H-2A program
Yeah.
allows for agricultural workers from countries, for example, Latin America, East Asia, wherever.
Uh-huh.
So come to the U.S. and they can work farms legally under
Okay.
legal precedence.
They can work what?
They can work legally in the U.S.
Okay.
Okay, but there is a lot of restrictions with that visa.
Okay.
Employers have a lot of jurisdiction over them, over the migrant workers. A lot of them aren't allowed to leave the facilities, and basically, a lot of violations have included accusations of literally live slavery. Slavery happening to these workers. They cannot leave. They have no jurisdiction over their rights, and a lot of them are facing conditions such as field housing. They don't have any property rights on top of tenants too, so they're not legally even tenants. And if you're a tenant renting, they don't even have property rights. You hear me? There's people out here who don't even have property rights, and they're coming here legally and being used as slave labor. People are being used as slaves right now here in America. And because of ICE not doing anything. ICE not doing anything but deport people who are here looking for a better life, looking to support their dream. These people, you can't even defend legal immigration through the H-2A program.
So, is your grievance with the visa or
with
ICE
because,
or both?
Because both. Because immigrants, even if you try to go through the legal process in this country, you can't even have your own freedom. You can't even have your own freedom. Because under this H-2A program, these migrant workers have the ability to rank and file and go about their business if the work isn't good. But workers under this condition don't even have a right as working
let's address
people.
the visa first. When it comes to the visa, I've said this before. I think we need an immigration moratorium for 1 to 5 years so that we can fix the visa system, because we have a broken visa system in the United States. This is what I was alluding to. We have a broken visa system. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of problems, whether it's people overstaying their F1s or J1s, people coming out on B1, B2s and abusing it that way.
And that's a fault on employers, though.
Yeah,
that's not a fault on the people working.
But no, I get that. But
that's not a fault on the employers.
We need stricter regulation. We need to reform our entire visa and immigration program in the first place. Now, when it comes to your issues with ICE, what ICE is doing is simply deporting people that are out of status. It's that simple. Because this has been a problem that's been getting...
It's not as simple as out of status.
I mean, if they're out of status, they're out of status.
They're increasing their enforcement. But these people, these workers are the one who handle...
They're increasing their enforcement. Here's the thing. They're increasing their enforcement.
And the people can't even go legally through the process. Once they go legally through the process, they don't even have rights as people in this country. So even if you go legally through the process,
they actually
you
do
even
have rights.
Fucking rights.
Yeah, they do have rights. They go see an immigration judge.
Because these H-2A workers are under slave conditions.
Again, they do have rights if they're apprehended by ICE. They go see an immigration judge. The immigration judge makes the call. But you got to understand that immigration court is not the same as criminal court. Two completely different infrastructures.
This is being live streamed, right?
Yeah, it's live. Yeah. So there's a completely different infrastructure for immigration court versus a criminal court. Now, with that said, if people are here illegally, bro, it's pretty cut and dry. Are you out of status or not? If you're out of status, you're going to get deported. Simple as that. And we've been
Okay,
allowing
and these-
people to
okay,
kind of
so what
coast.
about
Hold
these
on. Let me
industries?
just finish my point. The reason why, right? The reason why this is a problem, and we've been kicking this can down the road, is because we've got to a point now where people being in the country illegally, people think, oh, well, they should still be able to stay even though they're here illegally. And we've just been kicking the can down the road on this problem and not deporting people, not enforcing immigration, not doing interior enforcement, and that's created a lot of problems. And that's why people are so shocked and uncomfortable right now when the ERO and ICE and all these guys are actually doing their jobs. But this should have been done years ago. But it's so shocking to everyone because we've come to this complacent, comfortable position where it's like, oh yeah, if people are here illegally, if people are here illegally, they continue to stay.
Even if these people, you're saying they don't have legal status, any status,
Simple as
whatever
that.
status it is, you can say as simple as that. But
Yeah.
these ultimately, these industries, these working American people who claim that their labor, they're especially agricultural workers, these industries depend on migrant labor. They depend on migrant labor, and once they even get legal migrant labor, these people are living and working under slave conditions. So even if you were to obtain an H-2A visa, you're still discriminated
That has
against
nothing to do with
for
ICE.
going through the system legally. So
that
what
has-
even is the point?
You're complaining about
so what
the
even
employers.
is the point of going it through it
You're-
legally?
look,
if
it's-
this is how you're treated.
it's
Once
the-
you're treated like a legal citizen in this country, you're literally a fucking slave. That's right? Is that a right? Should
Again,
that be right?
Again, your grievance
Should that
is
be
with
right?
the employers.
Should that be right? If
Your
you're
grievance,
a citizen, you should be treated
Bro,
as a fucking slave
okay.
in
Look,
this
look,
country.
Just calm down for a second.
So ICE
Just
is
calm
doing
down.
a lot of fucking shit wrong.
What you're complaining about right now
What I'm complaining
are
about
the employers.
The
okay?
employers, exactly.
The
But the
employers.
employers support this. The supporters,
ICE is not the
support
employers.
ICE being in the country.
ICE.
A lot of these people voted
ICE
for Trump.
are actually there to take them from the employment that you're talking about. Like ICE is there to rescue them from the employment
No.
and
ICE
send
is
them
not
back
there
home.
to rescue them, because even if you go through the proper channels, if you come into this country legally, there's no right for you as a worker.
What
and
you're
a
arguing
citizen,
for is not the
especially
topic.
if
You're
Latino.
arguing against predatorial companies. Fine,
Yeah,
I agree that could be a problem.
That is
but
a fucking problem.
But that's okay. But the topic isn't predatorial companies that abuse the visa system. The topic is people are here illegally and ICE does nothing wrong by deporting them. You're arguing something completely different, man.
No, I'm arguing under the same vein.
No, you're not. You're
Yes,
arguing.
I am.
You're arguing about
Because
predatory employers. Not the same.
Yeah,
not the same.
These predatory employers actually
Okay.
do support the
Do you
ICE
want? Do you have
and
another
they're
topic that you want to
supportive of this.
discuss?
Yeah.
Besides that was it. Okay. All right. Anyone else want to come on up?
I have a question.
Sure.
So, do you think that the Likud party has done more problems to the United States and to any other country than any good that could ever come from it?
Yeah, I mean, the Likud party is the reason why we're in this crazy situation in the first place. For those that are unaware, what he's referring to is the right-wing party of Israel for their government. The Likud party is like their functional equivalent of like the Republican Party. But most of them are very far-right nationalists that basically want to remove the Palestinians altogether. And Netanyahu, you guys think that he's crazy. He's the most moderate of them. The rest of them like truly want to just eliminate all the Palestinians. Many of them have said drop bomb in Gaza,
Smotrich,
get
Ben-Gvir.
them out of here,
Yep.
Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, all these weirdos. So, yeah, I mean, and that's a big reason why it's been so difficult for Trump to get this peace plan done. I think Israel bombing Qatar and all the international pressure with Canada, UK, and France recognizing Palestine, pretty much Trump, I think, told them, like, dude, we got to take a break here. You got to fucking end this war. And they definitely want to attack Iran. So I think with them wanting to attack Iran, they also needed to pause the fighting in Gaza. But the Likud party has absolutely been the driving force that's been propping up Netanyahu to do all the bullshit that he's doing.
Do you think that?
That's the home base of the bullshit.
So do you think that if the Likud party was, you can't really justify the Likud party's existence because its entire existence is based on the extermination of Palestinians. That's their entire goal. That's what what's his name? Their first prime minister, Ben-Gurion.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he wrote in his biography and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a Likud guy back then. I think he was more on the left side with the Labor Party. But regardless, the Likud party is a big problem.
Yeah.
That is the home base of the reckless foreign policy that Benjamin Netanyahu has been instituting.
Thank you.
No worries, bro.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Agree, disagree? ICE did nothing wrong. Women are dumb. Jews control America, and that's not good. Go ahead, get on the mic so they can hear you.
What do you think young men in our generation are doing wrong, especially like in our college age group? Do you think
Okay.
that
What are
there's
young men
anything
doing wrong?
that we're doing that we could be doing better, or we're missing out on right now because we're being distracted, in a sense, to social media and everything else?
Yeah, well, I think what young men need to focus on is becoming competent, right? This is something that we've kind of foregone because we live in this society where guys don't want to rise up to the occasion to become better because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to come off as toxically masculine, or I don't want to be, overbearing or whatever. Like, men need to be okay with being men again, right? We need to, number one, become competent. Number two, be a strong leader. And then number three, not be scared or apologetic about being any of those things, right? We live in a world now where it's like women will tell you, oh, you're being misogynistic, you're being toxically masculine. The reality is, and what they won't tell you is that that's precisely what they want, right? The reason why this phrase, nice guys finish last, is such a thing is because it's true. Women don't know what they want, They don't even know what they want to eat for lunch. So why the hell are we going to listen to them? Like, you got to be the unapologetic asshole that they need in their life because women need guidance. So that's what I would say guys are. Yeah, come on the mic. Sure. Go ahead, bro. Can you guys all hear me right? You guys hear me good?
We hear you.
All right, cool. Because we had
this-
to turn the amplification sound down, which is super fucking gay, but it is what it is.
This has nothing to do with this, but
Yeah.
would you rather date a fat girl or a black girl?
Would I rather date a fat girl or a black girl? The fat girl.
Why? Why?
Because the black girl's gonna be fat anyway.
All right.
The average black woman in America is 187 pounds, dude. She gotta be fat anyway. Goddamn. At least I can get the fat girl that don't give me an attitude. With real hair.
I got one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you rather see two black girls fight for a wig or two fat girls fight for food?
Damn. Two black girls fight for a wig or two fat girls fight for food? Can I see both, bro?
Nah, you gotta pick one.
You gotta pick one? All right, two black girls fighting for a wig is hilarious. I'd probably do that one.
It's tense though.
Yeah, because it's gonna be more entertaining. The fat girls, they'll be jiggling and stuff like, so.
All right, thank you, Myron.
No worries, man. Good questions. Oh, man. What's up, man? Come on up.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. So, I was listening to like your early talks.
Oh, yeah, talk into the mic, bro,
my fault,
so they
my
can
fault.
hear you.
I was listening to
Thank you,
your
Sean.
early talks about Jews, Zionism, Israel, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Are you strongly believe that like Zionism and Jews control the U.S. government?
Absolutely.
But why? Why? Like, I just want to know some like specific like, do you have?
Okay, so I'll kind of start from the beginning here, and I'll kind of explain this, because this is I'll try to go through it somewhat quick.
Yeah.
So when I say that Jews and Zionists control America, what I mean by this is they have a ridiculous amount of influence in almost every pivotal infrastructure point in American society, whether it's big tech, finance, the government, media, even pornography, right? Because nowadays that's like a big industry, unfortunately. They have a presence there to a significant degree, right? Television, etc. So what they've been able to do with this influence is use it to their advantage to basically prop up and protect the state of Israel. Because the state of Israel is in a precarious situation because it's surrounded by people that don't want them there, or nations that don't want them there.
Well,
so
there's been some countries, like before October 7th, some countries have worked towards peace with Israel. Like, I forgot, like
Yes,
Arab Emirates, like Egypt.
Yeah, so
Jordan.
Egypt did in 1978 with the Camp David Accords, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was something else.
Was that?
I think it was something else.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the Camp David Accords with Saddam and Menachem Begin. But the point I'm trying to, and Egypt, that was back in the 70s. Egypt and Jordan, the reason why they signed those agreements is because they're right on on Israel's borders, and we give them a lot of foreign aid. So we give Israel the most foreign aid. Jordan and Egypt are right there.
Right.
So we basically pay them to play nice with the Israelis, right? But what I'm trying to say is how they control America. So they're at every single infrastructure point, like I stated, right?
Right.
Then they lobby, right, especially within the government, whether they get positions of power or they get power outside of the government and then or lobby like the Adelsons, etc. And they utilize this lobbying to preserve Israel. And they focus on getting our American foreign policy, especially in the Middle East, to benefit Israel. This is why we've had the war on terror, which was a monumental failure. This is why we went to Iraq. This is why we had all these conflicts all across the Middle East was for Israel's security.
Right, but I feel like a lot of it has like died down. Like, did you see when Netanyahu, he went up in front of I forgot where, and like everyone walked out?
Yeah,
You know
because he was conducting a genocide.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of influence is like disappearing. So,
well, let me put it to you this way: if any other country was doing what Israel did, they would be completely admonished by the entire world.
But there are
They would be
other
sanctioned to hell. They would not be able to. They would like.
But
it would,
there are other countries that are doing what Israel's doing.
yeah, and they get
China.
sanctions, and they don't get support from the United States. And no one is doing what Israel's doing. There's no one is doing.
China with the Uyghurs, Haiti.
Of course,
you could maybe argue for Ukraine.
I would say what Israel's doing is worse. And the thing is that we give them a lot of financial aid to do it.
That is true.
Right. This is why they're able to run with. This is why they're able to do the reckless foreign policy that they do, because they have unequivocal U.S. support, and it's because they control every infrastructure within the United States.
So then, what's the solution to that?
Remove them from government.
Every single Jew.
Any dual allegiance Zionist Jew, or Zionist for that matter. I'm not just talking about just removing Jews, but any dual allegiance Zionist needs to be removed from positions of government.
So,
and we need a foreign policy that benefits America only, not Israel. Because Israel
I
serves no strategic benefit to the United States.
I totally agree with America first. Like I myself, I'm Jewish, but I'm American, right?
Okay.
So, and I totally agree, American first. We should put our focus in our own country before other countries.
Yeah.
Like I do not think we should be sending all this money to Israel.
Yep.
At the same time, I feel like everyone should have some say. I feel like we should have anti-Zionists, Zionists, like all those type of people in the government, because that's what makes a democracy. That's
I can see your perspective, but the problem is that these people put Israel first, and you cannot put, if you're going to go ahead and prioritize Israel, by definition, America's not going to be prioritized. Because the Israelis have put us in really bad diplomatic positions, which, I saw you heard earlier with Qatar and everything else like that. So this is what I mean when I say they have too much influence, and we can't have them having that level of influence in the United States. And all the wars that we had in the Middle East is because of Israel. We've been wasting our time in the sandbox. We should have been focusing on China all this time.
Afghanistan, that was because of Israel?
Yeah.
Why?
The war on terror. The entire war on terror was, okay, so back in, we started in 1996. Daniel Pearl and a couple other neocon Jews, right, drafted something called the Clean Break Memo. In this Clean Break Memo, they orchestrated a strategy to take over 7 different Muslim countries in the Middle East. Pretty much every country there that was identified has been destroyed or destabilized or cucked and have some kind of deal with Israel and the United States. The last country left is Iran, which I predict we're going to go to war with them probably by the end of this year or next year because the Israelis. And then you fast forward to the year 2000 with the Project for a New America, PNAC. They also were talking about removing Saddam Hussein, etc. And they said they needed a Pearl Harbor-like event to make this change. Well, then a year later, what happens? 9/11. And when 9/11 happens, several Israeli intelligence operatives were caught celebrating and dancing when the towers were hit.
Really?
Oh, you didn't know about this?
No, I generally had no idea.
Yeah, so several Israeli intelligence so there was a movie company called Urban Movie Systems, but there was a bunch of other ones as well, White Glove Servicing, whatever. And all these different movie companies were following these hijackers in Florida and in California. So the reality is this: 9/11 was a terrorist attack conducted by the U.S. deep state, Saudi Arabia, and Israel.
You really?
Absolutely. There's declassified documents now that prove that the CIA knew that these hijackers were in America, purposely didn't tell the FBI about it, right? And facilitated the attacks to happen. And 5 Israelis were caught in New Jersey dancing and celebrating and flicking lighters as the towers were on fire. And they had foreknowledge that it was going to happen.
So you think every single major American event has happened because of Israel?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying 9/11, there's absolutely Zionist fingerprints all over it.
I could see, yeah. But so you think when
But the Saudis were involved too. My thing is I will call everybody out. So the Saudis were involved, the Israelis, and the United States with the CIA.
So do you think when, that famous picture where the CIA agent is telling, what's his name? Oh my God. The president at the time, what's his name?
There's a lot of presidents.
The guy, 9/11. What's his...
George Bush?
Bush.
Okay. So I know he's young, man. He doesn't even...
No. I used to be able to name my presidents a year ago, but it's fine.
It's fine. You probably weren't alive in that era.
I
Shows my age.
I was not.
Yeah.
So you think he was telling George Bush that the attack was successful?
Well, I think it's important for people to know, during the Bush administration, Bush wasn't the one running foreign policy. It was Dick Cheney. Bush was effectively just letting Dick Cheney run everything with the Office of Special Plans and everything else.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dick Cheney was the war hawk that... Dick Cheney and a lot of the neoconservatives, Robert Kagan, Douglas Feith, Paul Wolfowitz, all these guys were John Bolton. These guys were all neocons, and the majority of them were Jewish, that pretty much worked alongside Dick Cheney to orchestrate the Iraq War, which is, I think, one of the biggest monumental failures in American foreign policy ever.
You think that's the biggest monumental failure in
One of the biggest, for sure.
I think the biggest failure has got to be when Jimmy Carter, that era, with the Middle East.
I mean, people rank him as a bad president, but that's what started the war on terror. Was this bad foreign policy.
All right. Thank you. It was great talking.
No worries, bro. No worries. What's up, man?
Myron, I want to say thank you.
And guys, when you come up on the mic, speak loud because we're not using amplified sound because they're gay. Yeah. What was that? And speak close to it and then speak loud so everybody here can hear you. And then, good. What's up, bro?
Thank you for coming to Penn State. I want to say I've seen like a lot of your videos. How come when you talk to people about Jewish situations that they get so mad and they're so biased because they're Jewish that they don't see the situation that's actually going on?
So just so I make sure I have this right, sorry. So why is it that Zionist Jews can't see the problem? Is that your question?
Yeah, it's also like I was talking with a girl who's Jewish the other day, and she's like she can't even see the other side of it. She's so one-sided.
Oh. Well, I mean, we gotta. Is she practicing or just ethnically Jewish?
Just ethnically Jewish, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. This is gonna come off maybe offensive or whatever, but let's just be honest about it. You're talking about a group of people who call themselves the chosen people, right. So they're inherently going to be pretty solipsistic in their worldview, and that translates and bleeds over into foreign policy, right? The reality is that Israelis simply don't give a shit about Palestinian life or anyone really else, and this is why they've been kicked out of so many different societies and had problems. So, when you call yourself the chosen people, that's going to bleed into your interactions with others.
If they don't serve us in any way, why does the U.S. keep helping them?
It's a fantastic fucking question. And you know what's funny? They wouldn't be able to answer it.
No.
If you ask the government that, they would not be able to answer it. I encourage all you guys to look this up. Richard Nixon did an interview in the 80s or 90s, and the newscaster asked him, why do we support Israel? Because in his memoirs, he admitted that Israel provides us zero strategic benefit. And he said the reason why we support them is because it's a ethical and moral one. Judeo-Christian values, which is a fucking lie in itself. But we do it for more reasons, right? But translation,
is that it, though?
It's not.
Yeah.
The translation is because they have a ridiculous amount of influence in the United States and use that influence to push our foreign policy to their benefit, to our detriment. That's the real reason. But they lie and say it's because of Christian Judeo values or we have a moral obligation to them.
You talked about the 9/11 situation. What did anyone in the U.S. do about those guys celebrating it when it happened?
So this is the beauty of independent media. So I'm 35. I'm old. But I remember, when I was 11 years old and 9/11 happened, you couldn't find this information in the mainstream media because it got shut down quick. So the mainstream media did report on it, but then they quickly got that stuff off the air. And this was a topic that's been banned for very long. But thanks to the resurgence of social media and independent media, we're able to, find out what really happened on that day. And we're figuring out about these intelligence operatives, these Israeli intelligence operatives. And this is all declassified FBI documents. This isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. It's absolutely verified fact that Israeli operatives were caught celebrating and had foreknowledge of the attacks on 9/11. It's absolute fact.
Do you think mainstream media took it away so fast because the mainstream media is controlled by Israelis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All of the main networks are controlled by Zionist Jews. Or the Murdochs, the Murdochs are hardcore Zionists, even though they might not necessarily be Jewish.
So what about the people in the government who are fully American? What do you think they think about the people who are Israeli in the government, like influencing it? Do you think they have a say?
They don't care because they're getting paid.
Yeah.
They're being lobbied and they just shut up about this topic and don't. And because if you do talk about this, you look at someone like a Thomas Massey, right? They've been trying to get him out for a long time. Cori Bush was anti-Israel, and she said, hey, we need to figure out something with this genocide. The AIPAC spent millions of dollars to make sure she got out. In St. Louis, a region that doesn't even matter to them, but that's how much influence they have, where it's like, oh, you're not pro-Israel? Cool, we're going to fund your opposition and make sure that we crush you. And that's what they do.
That's why we need people like you to bring it to the world.
Hey, man, I'm considered a far-right extremist, so I don't know. But, maybe one day I'll become Fuhrer.
What do you think they can do in the future? Like, if it just keeps going like this, how are we supposed to end it?
The good thing is, right, I'm here on a college campus talking to you guys right now about this problem. You guys are the future. So the more young people that wake up to this problem, the higher the likelihood one of you guys here, someone that's watching, etc., is gonna grow up, get a position of power, get into politics, and know the truth, and then hopefully our government will start to represent that.
Okay.
Obviously, it's going to take a couple of election cycles for our youth to get in, but the youth overwhelmingly is awakened to this topic, which, my generation, we weren't because we didn't have alternative media to learn this stuff.
Yeah. This is not ICE related, but I'm a freshman. How would you recommend? Obviously, I want to get rich right now. That's the focus. But I'm also studying, and it's a school where you go to get good education.
Yeah.
How would you recommend I balance the amount of study I do to like the work that I do to try and make money? Because I've noticed when I try and put my effort into really grinding on making money, I miss assignments and stuff.
Yeah. It's a balance, and I'll be honest with you, bro, because I remember that because I was a D1 athlete, and I remember like working a job and being an athlete and everything else like that. I think the thing for young men, all you guys here, is to get used to suffering in your 20s, right? You're gonna have to avoid partying, doing drugs, having fun, whatever. Because let's be honest here, college is an acceptable way to spend 4 years being a degenerate.
Yeah.
I was D1 athlete, I get it.
It's a vacation, literally.
It's a vacation, right? But I think with young men, they really need to focus on building their value in their 20s. So that they can have an easy decade in their 30s. Because if you don't work hard in your 20s, you're going to suffer in your 30s. You're going to have to make up for it. So, and as you get older and older, it's going to be harder and harder to work hard. So, it's going to suck. You're going to have to probably put in some hours and give up a lot of your social time, but it's absolutely worth it.
Okay, thank you. Also, what's it like being with? What's it like being with Tate and those types of guys who are just like?
Yeah, no, Tate is great, man. I mean, iron sharpens iron. You want to be around guys that are successful. If you're around 3 successful guys, you'll be the 4th. It's inevitable at some point. So surround yourself with guys that got their stuff together. Don't, do drugs. Don't drink all the time. I know this sounds really cheesy or whatever, but it does add up over time. It really does.
Thank you.
No problem, man. Absolutely. No problem. Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm short, but yeah. All right. Okay, well, what's up? Hi, what's your name?
Maggie.
What's that?
Maggie.
Maggie, what's up?
What is your thoughts about Trump?
What is my thoughts about what?
Yeah, Trump.
Trump? Yeah. I like Trump for the most part. There's things he does that I like, and there's things he does that I don't like. I'm definitely not one of these guys that's going to sit here and be what I call a MAGA retard, where you're unable to criticize mistakes. When it comes to foreign policy, I think he's doing a damn good job. Yeah. He's ended several conflicts.
Yes.
When it comes to the economy, the whole tariff situation, he's using it more as a bargaining chip versus actually revitalizing the economy. I don't like the Israel situation. I wish he had a better grasp on controlling Netanyahu. But, that's kind of the part for the course in American politics. But I do like what he's doing with immigration. He's the first president that's actually had the nuts to enforce immigration, not just at the border, but actually doing it interior. Yes. And that's why everyone is, losing their minds right now because we've never had a surge like this where we got immigration enforcement agents going in and picking people up in the United States.
Right. I mean, I'm from Egypt. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I feel like people are just overreacting about how immigration should be, like the immigrants should be here, but it should be like they need to go back to their country because we don't know who's coming in our country, and that's what I like about what he's doing. But the Israel thing is not. It's just not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not, and it sucks because every president since John F. Kennedy has been a cuck for Israel, right? Yeah. And there's a reason why JFK got killed, but that's a whole other conversation. Right. But yeah, no, I agree for sure that like
All right.
If you're here illegally, you're here illegally. I mean, I'm a first generation, American myself.
That's right.
I'm from Sudan. You said you're from Egypt, so we're neighbors.
All right.
You got to follow the law.
Right. Thank you.
So no worries.
Yep.
Shukran. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
You guys can hear me good? We good? We having a good time out here or what? Yeah. All right. Awesome. If there's any liberals that walk by, tell them to stop by and have a discussion. They're all running, bro. They're all terrified. What's up, man? Yeah, they're like I told you. I said it earlier. Like libs never want to debate, dude. They just want to yell from the side. Shout out to where's Bandana Man? Did he leave? I'll give him credit. He at least like tried.
What's up?
What's up, man?
I just have a question. Is there any candidate in the future that you would like think about voting for, or do you think that both parties are too influenced by like, say, another country?
Yeah, right now both parties are cucked to Israel. So we're gonna need to. It's probably gonna take a couple election cycles to get more young blood in there, because the problem is that a lot of these established politicians, the norm has always been AIPAC money, support Israel. It's been a bipartisan, always support Israel. But now people are starting to slowly wake up. So I predict hopefully in the future we're able to, deal with this problem. But yeah, like if Thomas Massey ran for president, I'd absolutely vote for him.
All right, thank you.
No problem, man.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's up, man?
My name is Yusuf. I'm actually Egyptian too.
Okay.
I agree with you on most things, like the Israel situation and everything, but
what do you disagree with?
What do I disagree with?
Yeah.
Well, you talked a few weeks ago about, or maybe last week, about Islam and the detriments of it on the West. My question for you is if you agree that liberal Israelis or liberal Jews, they support the open border policy, and they're the reason that people who come from war-torn countries and commit crimes here, they're the reason that they're here. So
is your question on my views on Islam, or what was the specific question?
Well, I have a few questions, but the first one was about the whole Islam thing with the Jews.
Yeah, so let me just give you my position, because I think a lot of people mischaracterize my position on Islam. My position is, I think the United States is a Christian country. I think Muslims are guests here. And as guests here, I don't think it's appropriate to pray pray public areas of significant, maybe a tourist attraction,
like a Times Square.
Like a Times Square or any of these other places, or have the Adhan being played, 5 times a day in U.S. cities. I don't think that's appropriate.
But
to be done.
Say you think the U.S. is a Christian country?
Yes.
Okay, I disagree. I don't think the U.S. was found on Christianity. I think it was found on the separation of state and religion.
Yeah, separation of church and state. But
right.
But the separation of church and state was to ensure the protection of the church and the government from influence of either or.
Right.
So the framers put that in for that perspective. It's it's the separation of church and state, not the separation of mosque and state. But I do think that this country was founded by white Protestants, etc.
Right.
But I do think that this is a Christian country, and we're here as guests. I mean, let's be honest, we're the minority. We're 2% of the population, right? So by definition, we're the minority, they're the majority, which makes sense because they founded the country.
Right.
So I think as guests, just because we could doesn't mean we should.
I don't completely disagree that we're guests. It's just for me, one of the things
And let me be clear, I don't have a problem with them praying in public. Right. My problem is that when you pray in public and inconvenience others, or if you have the Adhan being played multiple times a day and inconveniencing others, I just don't think that's fair.
Okay. Do you agree that the reason they're here are the Jews, though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's not all of them, but a lot of them, come from war-torn countries, which was due to our foreign policy, and our foreign policy has destabilized these Middle Eastern and Muslim countries. So it's created chaos where they need to seek refugee, whether it's here in the United States, Western Europe, etc.
Okay. And then I have just one more question. What do you think about Peter Thiel and Palantir?
Terrible.
Okay. All right.
Terrible. He's literally a cocksucker. What's up, man?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for being here. I think it's really important, that.
And speak up so everybody can hear you.
Oh, yep. So I think we owe him a round of applause, guys. Come on.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, man.
Honestly, I'm a freshman here. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm here legally.
Nice. A hardworking Puerto Rican.
Yes,
that's hard to find.
Yes, sir. So my question is, what's your piece of advice for me to really form my future and also make an impact in the world? Because I think it's not enough to be successful. I think you need to have an impact, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
And you can have an impact in your own way, right? Like
sure.
whether it's you're like me here talking on a mic to young guys, talking about the uncomfortable truths, or you're an electrician or a plumber and you're contributing that way, or firefighter, or cop, whatever it may be. My biggest thing is get a skill, be of value, be as competent as you can be, and be that guy that a woman is going to want to defer to your authority. I think if guys kind of focus on themselves and grow that way versus like chasing after ass, they're going to be way better off. Because the reality is the things it takes to become successful are counterproductive to attracting women, because women are a big waste of time when you don't have money. But if you got your shit together, then you will spend less time.
For sure. No, but thank you. Can I shake your hand?
Yeah, of course, bro. No worries, man. Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for coming. All right. What's up, man?
All right. So, do you?
And guys, anyone that has a disagreement, please come on the mic and make a line, man. There's no dumb question or dumb topic. So, yeah. What's up?
Right. So, do you think that the Epstein files should be released, and are they real in your opinion?
Should be released?
Yeah.
Absolutely real.
Okay.
The reason why they're not being released is because there's more than likely compromising information there of Trump and probably Israeli government officials as well.
And do you think Trump should be impeached if it's released and he is in those files, like you said?
If he's doing inappropriate things or breaking the law, then yeah.
All right, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Jack. Nice
Yo.
to meet you. I just wanted to, I've watched a lot of your videos, and I just want to know like your view on like abortion.
My views on abortion
as a subject. I know I've heard a lot of your videos regarding women, and how you feel about women. So I'm just kind of curious as to what your views are on abortion.
So, I have this is probably my only position that wouldn't be like as far right. I think a certain period of time. I think in Florida it's like 4 to 5 weeks or whatever, right? I think that might be the appropriate route, because at that point you might not know, is it worth it to bring a child in when you don't have a stable family, or you don't have a guy that's going to support you? That kid's going to end up becoming fucked up, because we know single motherhood contributes to a lot of problems. But yeah, on this topic, that's kind of where I stand. I'm obviously always open to hearing other things. This isn't like a topic that I'm like, concern myself with too much. I know a lot of people that are more religious are more pro-life, and I respect that. But that's kind of my take on it right now at the moment.
Do you feel the same way about the death penalty in regards to just life or death?
So when it comes to, honestly, this might be extreme, I don't think we should even give them the death penalty. I think we should torture them. If I'm going to be honest, like if you're someone who hurts kids, you rape women, you do senseless violence, you do mass murdering or serial killer or whatever, like that scumbag that stabbed that woman on the train.
Yeah.
I don't think death penalty is enough. I think these guys need to be publicly tortured. And the reason why is because we need to send a clear message that we're not going to tolerate this bullshit. And I think it should be like, if I became fear, I'd call the WBNN, the Waterboard Niggas Network, and we would just live stream that shit all day.
Yeah.
And I think that would deter crime, because a lot of criminals might think twice when they're going to be embarrassed live as they're crying, getting tortured for the crimes that they do. It'll make them think twice.
Yeah, awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, nice
No
meeting
worries,
you.
man. What's up, man?
How's it going, Myron? Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So my question is, how did we get to this point in our country where half of the population can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, and they think it's okay to mutilate children's body parts, and they come up with hundreds of different pronouns? I was just wondering how we got here, and can we correct that line of thinking? Do you even think that's possible at all?
We got here through liberalism, right? We got here through liberalism. We got here through feminism, right? And this is a perfect example of what I mean, where feminism is the spearhead to almost every societal problem that we have. So first it was free love in the 1960s, right? Well, first it was birth control, no fault divorce. That leads to the creation and push of feminism. After feminism, then was the gay rights and gay marriage. After the gay rights and the gay marriage, now the alphabet community comes in out of nowhere, right? We went from letting two dudes get married, right, to now we're going all the way far left where there's 99 genders now. And it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. And we kind of, dealt with this slippery slope. And I'll admit, my generation is what failed you guys in this regard, because we voted for guys like Obama. We thought back then, hey, it's not a big deal, just let them get married like the rest of us. But what ended up happening is we opened up that Overton window, and when you give them an inch, they take a mile, and that's kind of what's going on right now. Right. So I do think that my generation bears some responsibility for that, but it's because most of us voted for Obama back in 2008 because we didn't have alternative media, and we were so pissed off with the Iraq war, and we're just so tired of that bullshit, so we wanted something different. And Obama was a great, charismatic speaker. And a lot of people bought it hook, line, and sinker. I remember I was 18 when he ran and I voted. So, but this has created a lot of problems because it came from the Obama era. But yeah, it started with feminism, and that's how we've gotten to this point now.
So how do you think we can correct that line of thinking?
I think we're slowly correcting it now. I see a lot of young guys are starting to lean more conservative because the Democrat Party has done a horrible job of being cool and marketable to young men. And I see a lot of young guys becoming more conservative versus in my generation, a lot of guys were more progressive.
Because I know, like, when I was a kid, there wasn't really all this gender stuff. And then slowly when I got to high school and college, it kind of all slapped you right in the face. And I feel like a lot of people my age, they don't know that stuff's just so crazy. It's just normal to them.
Yeah. This wasn't this 99 gender bullshit is a new thing. Right. And as someone who's like watched the paradigm change from, I was born in 90 to now, it's crazy. I remember being in college and like gay marriage becoming a thing, and it was being controversial back then. But I did not foresee that it would get like this. Right. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are.
All right. Thank you, Myron.
No worries, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, brother. What's up, man?
Hello. I just had a quick question for you. So I guess after Charlie Kirk died, a lot of people that were on the left, they were either criticizing him or celebrating his death.
Yep.
And people like Asmongold, who, as far as I know, you're generally positive towards him.
Yeah.
They were, supporting these people getting deplatformed and censoring them. But you're with Uncensored America. And I was just wondering, and to be clear, the people that are celebrating his death, I think fully should, have punishment come towards them. But I was wondering, people that are just criticizing Charlie Kirk, I feel like it's our right to, say we disagree with someone, even after they die. If it's insensitive, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to hear what your opinion on that was.
Yeah, I mean, me and Charlie didn't agree on everything, too. I think the big thing that we disagreed on was Israel, right? And we had a discussion about that before. But obviously, when he was killed, I kind of just, I think now it's more about kind of uniting versus like still bringing up political grievances from before just out of respect is my opinion. I do understand that some people are going to still be critical after his passing, especially maybe his political opposition. But I don't know. Is it worth it? Like, I mean, he's no longer here to defend his beliefs, right? So I think criticizing him at this point now is kind of, a waste of time. But I do understand that people, especially on the left, are going to do that. But yeah, celebrating anyone's death, whether left or right, is a big problem. Like, if someone on the left was like a big political commentator on the left was killed in that manner, I would say we need to find the individuals responsible and put them in the WBNN, the Waterboarding Network, right? But that's kind of where we are now, unfortunately. And I would argue that the left tends to be more violent when it comes to politics than conservatives are, right? And I know a lot of liberals might say that's not true or whatever, but I think it's absolutely true because they've never had to deal with real consequences or censorship for their worldviews. It's always been conservatives that have been censored, not the left.
Yeah, I would say that. Sorry, just give me a second. I think the problem, though, is that a lot of people on the right, a lot of people on the right, they have been dealing with this censorship, and I don't think that we should be stooping to the same level as the people that used to do it on the left censoring us.
No, I agree with you. Like them canceling Jimmy Kimmel, for example, I thought that was retarded. Like,
yeah,
he made a joke. Yes, it was bad. It was bad faith. Yes, it was very poor taste. But I don't think he should have been canceled for it. But like these individuals that are like celebrating on TikTok that are paramedics, nurses, doctors, whatever, like after someone's been killed, I think that's highly inappropriate.
Yeah, like I said, I think
because they're in positions of trust. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a position of trust where literally people's lives are in your hands, you should not be celebrating the death of anyone.
Right.
Because you took an oath to protect all life, no matter what.
Yeah, but I think just to wrap up here,
yeah,
I would say that just criticizing somebody, even if it's insensitive, I wouldn't say that we should cancel those people. I wouldn't say that we should. I mean, we can be negative towards them, but that's their right to say it. It's my right to criticize too, right?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
all
if you're attacking people's ideas, I have no problem with that.
All right, thank you.
No worries, man. Thank you. All right, so yeah, guys. So the topics are: ICE did nothing wrong. Men are superior to women. Jews have too much power. What else?
Question.
Oh yeah, the alphabet community are mentally ill. Whatever you want. What's up, man?
So why do you think that we don't acknowledge Israel's nuclear weapons program?
Because that would create a lot of problems for them if they hadn't acknowledged nuclear program.
Do you find it ironic that we're bombing Iran for the exact same reason?
It's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
I've said that before. It's like it's crazy to me how Israel has an illegal nuclear weapons program where they stole a lot of the technology and uranium from us.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, out of Apollo. But they're complaining about Iran having a nuclear bomb. It's hypocrisy at the highest level. It's ridiculous. So it just but that goes to show how strong the tentacles are of the Israeli influence in America.
Even if you say tentacles, they can call you an anti-Semite just
Absolutely.
for saying that.
I mean, they're deporting college kids here and all the other place for being critical of Israel. It's nuts.
Crazy.
Right? So,
Thank you.
no, thank you. All right, any progressives, any liberals want to get on the mic? If you think I'm a bigot or whatever it may be, feel free to tell me why. Okay? Let's try to get a disagreement out here, if possible. And again, I'll give you guys the positions. Well, we're on YouTube, so we can save that one for later. Okay. What's up, man? What's up? What's your name?
I'm Hatan.
What is it?
Hatan.
Matan?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
A little loud, yeah.
Yeah, just be loud so the people here can hear you.
Yeah. So I've seen like your content online.
Yeah.
And so like my question to you is like, what exactly is like, I've seen most of your podcasts with like women and everything, and my question is to you like, what is like your goal? Like what is the message that you're trying to send to men, young men?
What is my message and my goal?
To
So the
young
question
men.
is, what is my message and my goal with the podcast?
To young men specifically.
To young men?
Yeah.
To get women back in the kitchen.
Get women back in the kitchen.
Yeah, to get women back in the kitchen. Yeah, to have guys have the balls to finally stand up to women and say, you need to go back to the fucking kitchen.
All right. Do you think that's like productive as a whole? Like, do you
To
think
tell women to go back to the kitchen?
Do you think telling young men to tell young women to go back to the kitchen will work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, and I'll explain why. A guy that could tell a woman go back to the kitchen is a guy that's in his masculine frame. A guy that's in his masculine frame understands that he has duties and responsibilities to a family and to his woman. So by him telling her to go back to the kitchen, what he's doing is he's leveraging her greatest strength, which is making sandwiches, not making careers. So that's why I think men need to get the balls to tell women to go back to the kitchen.
What makes you think that women aren't capable of leading the same careers though as men?
What makes me think that women are capable of...
Aren't capable of leading the same careers as men?
Because they're inferior to us in almost every metric that matters. They're weaker, they're smaller, they're shorter, they're more susceptible to, they're more vulnerable. They're just not equal to us in any way. Now, again, I want to be clear about this. This doesn't mean from an inherent human value. I would argue from a human value, actually, they hold more value because they incubate the next generation. But when it comes to practicality and performance, men are superior in every regard.
So then my question to you is, in the modern day, with like, you mentioned these like physical differences between men and women, biological difference between men and women. In the modern day, how much of this, like, women are shorter or are weaker to men biologically? How much of that like materially matters in the workplace?
How much does a woman's biology and her physical inferiority matter in society?
Well, you mentioned women being like biologically weaker than men.
Yeah.
Right. But how much does that matter on a scale of like, if most jobs nowadays aren't hard labor, if most jobs are in the office, if most jobs are leading whatever it may be, corporate type jobs?
Yeah, no, I see your position, but that's what I mean when I say we've civilized the world so much and modernized it so much that like we forget like how inferior women really are, if we're going to be honest, right? With this, how much we've modernized society. Like we've made it where it's like, oh, you're a woman, you want to join the military? Cool, like just go ahead and come on in. Oh, you want to be a cop? Oh yeah, sure, just come on in because of equality, inclusivity. I think it's all good to be equal and egalitarian until you get hit with reality again. Right, and I want it where I think we need to, and this is why I agree with what Pete Hegseth did, where he, brought back military standards, said, "Yo, women shouldn't be serving in certain positions." We need to stay lethal and stay powerful. We don't want to be in a position where it's like, "Oh, we get punched in the face," then we realize, "Oh, we weren't prepared." I think it's best to be prepared from the beginning. So, inclusivity at the cost of productivity is a big problem.
But what is like the material productivity cost? Is there something that can be
What is the
measured?
what?
Like, what is the true productivity cost
You
of
gotta
having?
speak up, man, 'cause it's really,
is it?
people are talking in the back
Okay,
and stuff
sorry.
like that, and- go ahead.
Like, is there a measurable productivity loss in having women in the workplace?
Well, here's the thing. I think that the productivity measurement that we should be focusing on is, are we having kids? Are we having nuclear families? And what feminism has effectively done is it's come in and it's destroyed the nuclear family because women are more concerned with chasing a career versus chasing a family. And I think that's where a lot of problems happen.
I don't know. Like I don't think that's entirely true. I think there's
You don't think feminism contributed to the destruction of the nuclear family?
to the destruction of the nuclear. I think the loss of the nuclear family as a family structure could be is derived from a lot more than just modern feminism. That could be.
Of course, there's going to be multiple factors, but I would argue feminism has been one of the key ingredients to the destruction of the family unit.
And then who's to say that women are, they have to be confined to the structure of a nuclear family? Who says exactly that is the right path for women? And that we have
having a family?
I mean, not, but why can't they have a family later in their careers when they choose to?
Because by then they're too old and used up, unfortunately.
I
Right?
don't think
By the time a woman hits
I don't know
in her
if that's
30s,
biologically even true.
most of her eggs are gone. So it's going to be significantly harder for her to actually have children into her 30s. So she should be trying to mate and have children when she's younger.
I mean, there's still plenty of women now who are having children in their 30s and
Sure,
and
but
whatnot.
this is why we got more retards.
And with
Like
modern,
this is why we got autism and all these other mental problems is because women are having kids later, kids come out retarded. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So I think if we want to have an optimal, healthy society, women should be having children when they're at their optimal health. So in their 20s. Now just because women can have kids at 30 doesn't mean that we should allow that to happen because a lot of them have failed pregnancies as well.
Would you not say that completely excluding that part of the population from the workplace would actually be less productive as a whole for society?
Say that again?
Would you not argue that excluding women as a whole from the workplace would not really just be less productive for society as a whole?
Well, we would have to do it in segments, right? You can't just say, all right, all you guys back to the kitchen right now. We'd have to do it in waves. Like when you're getting on a plane and they say, all right, party 1 can get on now. Party 2, you guys can get on. We got to do it like in waves. All right, hot girls, you go back to the kitchen. Wait a little bit. All right, you mids, now you guys can go back to the kitchen. Then, wait a little bit more. All right, you fat hoes can go back to the kitchen, but you can't eat nothing. You know what I mean? We just got to go in and we got to do it in waves.
I mean, yeah, I disagree. I think, especially
with doing it in waves?
Well, that and the entire concept, but because
But you do agree that the fat women got to go last.
I didn't say that. But
okay.
I think especially with modern reproductive methods like IVF and all these different ways that science has brought about having children, women don't have to be forced into having children early on at the cost of their careers.
Well, again, they could go ahead and sacrifice a family, but I think the problem here is that we don't educate women enough to tell them, look, if you want to pursue a career, fine, but understand that as you rise up the ranks and make more money and increase your status, your ability to formulate a family is going to be significantly harder because as women acquire resources, their standards go up. As their standards go up, fewer and fewer men can meet that standard.
Is it really? Do you okay? Do you really think that women have too high of standards though? Do you really?
Do I think that women have what?
Too high of standards? Do you sincerely
Absolutely.
believe that?
Women's standards are way too high. Way too high.
Can you explain?
We got girls that are mids, wanting a dude 6 foot plus, making $100,000 plus a year. And I would blame social media on that and them being educated and having access to more resources.
I mean, I think there's definitely some social media has contributed, but I think that also applies to men in the same vein. I think a lot of men have also distorted reality on what they expect.
I would argue. So I see your perspective. If I took 100 men and I took 100 women and I asked the men to rank themselves of where they think they stand in the sexual marketplace, what they would rate themselves, versus if I took 100 women and asked them where they rate themselves, the men would probably be closer to where they actually stand. So in other words, the guys would probably be more humble and rate themselves as 5, 6, 7, right? More average versus a majority of the women are going to say I'm a 10. So there's a very stark contrast between how the genders see themselves in their value. Women tend to overestimate their sexual market value versus men tend to undervalue theirs.
So I understand what you're saying, but my question to you then is, do you not think that's a result of the patriarchy in some way? And that so I'm a short man, and a lot.
Yeah,
of
you're cooked. It's gonna be hard for you to get a chick.
Well, I have a girlfriend. I have a long-term girlfriend, and it's.
How long y'all been together?
About a year and a half now, and
you guys met in college?
No, in high school.
So as you guys age, if your status doesn't go up and you don't make more money, and she either comes close to you or surpasses you, your chances of staying in said relationship are going to drop off precipitously.
Okay,
and that's a hardcore reality because women are resource extractors. Women are hypergamous.
Well, okay, so But from what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the things that I've gotten as a short man or as whatever have been primarily from men. And I think a lot of you rated men talking about rating them lower on the social ladder. Like if you asked a man where he places on the social ladder, he'd rank himself lower. Do you not think a lot of that is because it's standards imposed by men on men as well?
Yeah, and that's a good thing because we tend to operate in reality because of these standards. Women don't have that they don't have those standards. Like I was discussing this before, women don't understand the concept of hierarchy. And the reason why they don't understand the concept of hierarchy is because it's not required for them to mate. Right? So I'll start from the beginning. Everyone is put on earth to mate, right, and have children. For men, for us to have children and mate, we must rise up the ranks in the hierarchy to have sexual access to women. For women to mate, they don't have to rise up the hierarchy to have sexual access. So since they don't need to understand hierarchy to get sexual access, they just exist. And they're not aware of this stuff. But I'll explain it even better. In your situation, if your woman stayed the way that she is right now, you're never leaving her. But if you stay the way that you are right now, she's going to leave you. See the difference?
Can I say something to you?
Because she's going to expect you to grow, right, and earn more money, increase your status, and be at least close to, or if not a breadwinner.
Well, that's something I expect of myself as well, is to grow in my career. That's something I expect of myself as well, to grow in my career.
But understand that she doesn't have to change, but you do, and that's precisely my point. Because men are fundamentally held to a hierarchy standard, whether they want to accept it or not.
Okay, I understand what you're saying in that vein specifically, but I mean, when I started dating her, I was jobless, I didn't have any money, and there was really no issue with that, and I picked up a job out of my own volition, and even to this day, it's never really been a point of contention, because I lost a job, and nothing changed. It was I don't know. I think I'm not going to argue with you. I think there are shallow people in the world. I think there are shallow people, but I think shallow people can take the form in both men and women. I think there are tons of shallow men as well.
I would argue there's more shallow women than shallow men.
But why is that? Why do you
because the things that women look for are tangible things that are there for their survival. Women, and they have to be this way, by the way. I'm not shitting on them for being this way, but they have to be shallow because women are the more vulnerable sex, and women are designed to extract resources from men, not the other way around. So this is why women inherently are more solipsistic, more narcissistic, and are more selective in the process because they're the more vulnerable sex.
Do you have any is that backed by anything?
I mean, it's backed. It's just biology. If you poll 100 women, they're gonna tell you, I want a guy that's 6 foot tall. I want a guy that makes $100,000 per year. I want a guy that goes to the gym. I want a guy that has XYZ. Now, every woman is gonna have different variations of this, right? Different standards within these metrics, but the bottom line is always the same. They want a man better than them.
So then, but I think, how can you apply these old, biological takes from, very much more primal times in human history? I don't think they exactly, fit in and slot in perfectly to the 21st century. I don't think they exactly.
Yeah, and this is why I say modernity does not change the hindbrain, right? It allows us to maybe, right, with technology and all the, human achievements we have, it allows us to kind of not operate in reality when we, don't have to, but the ugly reality is that we're always going to, regress back to our instincts. And you can find this in what women find attractive. The things that the attraction triggers are primal. They're built into you, right? Men, what do we look for? Young girl, hot, big tits, nice ass, good shape, etc. This is what men typically look for. What do women look for? Tall, strong, competent, healthy genes, right? So we're looking for replication value of we want to have good-looking kids with a good-looking woman. Women look on survival value. Can this guy protect me? And this is just how it's baked in.
So then my question to you is then, how do you explain the epidemic of chopped men with tons of girlfriends that are hotter than them?
Because they have status. They're doing something right. Whenever I see a man with a girl that's out of his league, I know for a fact he either has money, status, he has game. He's doing something right if he's dating a girl out of his league.
But is that not, that makes sense, right? I think if a man has game, if he has a personality.
But the point is that he's got to work for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Men have to work to get women. Women don't have to work to get men. Women have to work to keep men. Big difference.
I think maybe very highly attractive women, but I don't know if that same standard applies to just average looking women or below average women even.
Average looking women have access to celebrities. This is why they're insufferable. Average-looking women are delusional and have high standards because they have access to higher status men, because men don't care about hierarchy. A regular girl from here, from this school, can DM a celebrity and probably get a response. Versus if an average guy here, DM'd a celebrity female, DM Rihanna, she ain't looking. She don't give a fuck. Right? Like,
Do you think Rihanna's a fair comparison?
I'm using the example of if a regular guy messages a female celebrity, he's invisible. But if a regular girl messages a celebrity, he's gonna more than likely respond.
Part of that is just like male desperation.
Male desperation?
Like, do you not think that's a part of it? It's just men just being easy.
Well, that speaks to the inherent biology we discussed earlier. Women fuck who they want, men fuck who they can, even if they have the status to fuck who they want.
All right, well, that's my time. I have to go to class, so.
No worries, man.
All right, appreciate talking to you.
No worries, bro. All right, anyone else, whether you think feminism, ICE did nothing wrong, women are dumb, Jews control America, fat people are disgusting, we need to put them in a fat camp, concentration camps where they can concentrate on diet and exercise. So, any of that stuff. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, guys. I mean, you have a discussion, even if you disagree. Or if you want me to clarify one of my positions, You want to talk about, because we're on YouTube, so I don't know if we can talk about the Cookie Monster event. That's what you want to discuss?
Oh, can we not? We can't talk about it?
Yeah, maybe towards the end.
All right.
Yeah, because we're on YouTube. You know how that goes. Mustache Man and Cookie Monster event, that becomes a problem on YouTube for obvious reasons. What's up? Got somebody?
So, tell me why you think ICE is doing nothing wrong right now.
The reason why I think ICE is doing nothing wrong right now, obviously it's a little bit of hyperbole, but for the most part, I think they're doing good because interior immigration enforcement is something that we've been, procrastinating on for decades. I have not seen any administration go this hard on focusing on deportation from the interior of the United States.
Wouldn't you say that they're going too far, though, at all?
In some cases, obviously, yes, right? There's going to be some people that get apprehended that might have status, right, that get rounded up in these raids. But I do think that that's going to be a byproduct of getting this done effectively and deporting as many people as possible, right? Some of these people are illegally harboring these aliens who might be U.S. citizens or have status, so there are going to be criminal investigations there. Some people might not be able to be determined to be USCs or have status right then and there at the scene. They got to bring them back to the office, fingerprint them, see where they stand. So there's always going to be inherent problems, but I think for the most part, we're doing a good job when it comes to immigration enforcement within the interior, which is the key distinction. Something we've never, at least no recent administration has done.
Isn't that kind of ironic, though, because your sign says ICE did nothing wrong, but you're admitting that ICE did some things wrong?
It's a little bit of hyperbole, you know what I'm saying? But but for the most part, I think what's going on is good.
Okay.
Nothing is ever perfect, right?
But wouldn't you say that people who are going to these immigration courts, fighting for their legal status, but then getting arrested as soon as they step outside, wrong?
Yeah, you're probably referring to what they're doing in New York City. The reason why is because New York City has been a sanctuary city for a very long time. These people have been able to operate with impunity. What What ICE is doing is when they're coming out these immigration courts and they don't have status, they're picking them up.
Okay.
So.
All right. That's all to say.
No worries. All right. Anyone else want to come up? Many different topics. We could discuss Israel, ICE, black crime, women being dumb.
Why do you hate women? Why are you a so-called quote-unquote misogynist?
Hey,
why do you think women shouldn't have rights?
I think, well, look, obviously I think they should have human rights. I just don't think they should have the right to vote and some other stuff. But my thing is I just accept reality that men and women are different. I think we've been kind of, pretending to be blind to this topic and say, oh yeah, we're all equal. Men and women are the same. And it's like, it's just not. And, we have all the biological evidence to show it. And I think I would argue that egalitarianism and feminism and all this equality bullshit, it's actually hurt women more than it's helped them, despite the fact that they think that it's helped them.
100%.
Yeah.
I believe that if arranged marriages and if we go to like how we are in the East, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, yeah, arranged marriages had, fixed a lot of problems.
They did, because you get married to a man and you're not putting all these other men who are in your catalog up for comparison. So
yeah,
you
because
only,
the parents were vetting.
Exactly.
So the parents were vetting to make sure the guy would be a good provider, and then the other family was vetting to make sure that she's not a 304. So both parties come to the table with something of tangible value, which is the premise of a relationship. But now it's gotten to a point where it's like women don't have to bring anything to the table, men have to bring a little bit to the table, and neither party's happy because they're not getting what they should be getting from the other party.
And I think that the problem more or less arises because women delude each other. Like,
Yeah.
the deluded will lead the deluded. They're going to keep lying to themselves and saying, oh, we want to be equal, when they don't understand that equality comes with
Responsibility.
lowering standards, lowering military requirements, or countries effectively worse military. Like China could steamroll us with the amount of DEI. I mean, you saw Hegseth's thing with the generals.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of people posting on like Instagram and TikTok that they were like not going to listen to the Secretary of State.
Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense, same thing. Yeah.
Insane.
No, it's absolutely nuts. Cool. What else? Yeah, guys, we're talking about a bunch of different stuff.
I know it's my third time up,
Yeah.
but I think ICE actually did everything wrong.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Well, at the beginning of Trump's term, he promised mass deportations. I don't think we're getting that at all. I think what ICE is doing, they're, working on removing college students who speak up against Israel and, other people who might be citizens or might be green card holders, rather than removing actual legal immigrants who came here with, no
So I agree that focusing on college students that are critical of Israel is a gross waste of resources because technically these students are here illegally, and them criticizing a foreign nation shouldn't be the reason why they lose their visa. But that's just one component of the immigration, reform. But I would say outside of that, for the most part, the interior enforcement that he's doing compared to other presidents and other administrations is, remarkable.
Do you think in terms of numbers, ICE is doing a good job at removing illegal immigrants? Because when I voted for Trump. I voted for mass immigrations, and we're not having mass immigration. So
you mean mass deportations?
No, like mass deportations. Yeah.
You voted for mass deportation.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So no, I would say because the thing is that So look at immigration as like the human body, right? The United States is the human body. First, you got to stop the bleeding. The bleeding was coming from the southwest border.
Right.
Stop the bleeding, right? We like a 90% plus drop in illegal aliens trying to cross into the country, right? Now that you stop the bleeding, now it's time to actually deal with the wound of the people that are actually here in the United States. That's where this interior enforcement is coming in because this has been the part that every politician has been too pussy to implement.
Right.
So that's where we are. Now, as a byproduct of that, they're also targeting students for anti-Semitism, which I think is retarded.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they're picking up a lot of other illegals as well. And who knows? Because I think if I'm not mistaken, the Mahmoud Khalil case, it was found unconstitutional to deport him.
It was. Yeah.
So
correct.
they tried, they failed. Right. That's why we're not hearing so much about them picking up college students anymore about Israel. It's not hitting the news like that because I think that set a pretty good precedent. So now they're kind of focusing more.
In terms of pure numbers, I don't think ICE is doing enough for mass deportations.
Remember, the pure numbers aren't going to be as high because they're not deporting people from the border anymore. A lot of these immigration statistics that have these crazy numbers, these are from catch and releases and deportations back from the border. So interior enforcement is never going to be able to keep up with deportations from the border. So that's why the numbers are skewed like that.
Okay. So my next question would be, if Trump has taken around $200 million this term from the Israeli lobby, and if their goal is mass immigration and white genocide, whatever you want to call it, if that's their goal, wouldn't it be kind of counterproductive that Trump is kind of aiding them while claiming to support mass deportations?
I'm a little confused by it. So it's hypocritical that he supports mass deportation.
While taking money from Israel who are supporting mass migration.
Well, the thing is that a lot of Israelis, even ones that were more progressive, have suddenly all of a sudden become right-wing. And the reason why is because with October 7th of the war in Gaza, what it's done is it's kind of red-pilled a lot of them to realize like, oh, we have to take a more conservative approach to our political ideology to deal with this conflict. This is why you got people like Bill Ackman and Alex Karp and Peter Thiel. He was a Zionist. You got all these guys who typically were, lifelong Democrats, progressives, coming over now to the conservative side, and it's because for the defense of Israel.
Right.
So that's kind of what it is.
Okay. All right.
And guys, by the way, don't be scared. Okay, if you got a disagreement, come on up. Whether it's ICE or women or Jews or
I
anything.
just think the whole ICE thing with Trump, I think that's more of like feeding into people's wants rather than actually doing anything. Because
that was his main campaign thing. He ran on mass deportations. That was one of the top reasons people voted for him.
Right. All right. Thank you. That's all.
No worries. All right, let's get some fresh blood on the mic, man. Don't be scared, guys. You guys are seeing. You have an advantage. You've heard a lot of the things that I've said in my worldviews. If you got come on over so they can hear you. Who asked that? Who asked that? You. Do I have any hot takes? I have plenty. I guess I see some new faces here. Yeah, men are superior to women. Jews control America. Blacks commit too much crime. Proportionate to their population size. What's up?
Oh, it says shout out everyone supporting Myron. Hopefully we see you out here more. We need more people like this because the Jews definitely did 9/11.
They were involved. It wasn't just them, but
we need to wake up a lot more people about the truth because there's a lot of people here who are just like lying to themselves.
That aren't aware?
Yeah.
All right. Come on up, guys. Come on. No one bites. Don't be scared.
I'm curious about what you think about how the FBI has handled the whole like Charlie Kirk thing and the level of transparency that there's been.
I'll definitely say that what's going on right now is I don't like how they're approaching it. They're not being transparent enough on this case.
There's just too many weird things about
Yeah, too many. We have more questions than answers at this point.
Yeah.
And I think with the Charlie Kirk case, with the level of interest from the general public, I think it's nuts that we are not being a bit more transparent with it, because at the end of the day, this is not a terrorism investigation. It's not a counterintelligence investigation, at least on the onset. It's a murder investigation. So the guy's been charged. He's in jail. Come out with the evidence, restore public trust, right? Because I think at this point, American trust of the federal government and the government in general is very low. So I think what they need to do is take a case like this that has enormous public interest and be very transparent about it to regain that trust, right? I think, and I understand, because as someone that used to be a special agent, like I understand protecting the integrity of an investigation, but I also understand that a case of this magnitude and public interest, you got to take one for the team. And if the case loses a little bit of its integrity to regain public trust, I think that's a trade worth doing. So hopefully, but I will say also, the FBI is not really running this case like that. It's actually the state police in Utah, because they're the ones that actually charged. So yeah, we good? Okay, well go ahead. That's it. I hope that answered your. Okay.
I guess one more thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Did you see like the text messages or?
Oh, that looked super shitty.
Yeah.
Again, like this is the problem, is that like we have more questions than answers.
That's and like that part to me especially was just like nobody texts like that.
Absolutely nuts. So yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. We have way more questions than answers. So no worries.
I was wondering, so you mentioned there's a lot more questions than answers. What do you think of the way that Candace Owens has been reporting and kind of talking about the subject? Do you think it's kind of creating more of that confusion or helping? Because she obviously cares a lot about Charlie. She was good friends with him.
Yeah,
but
I think some people might criticize her, say she's going too crazy, conspiracy, whatever. I think what she's doing is she's echoing. There's a reason why she has 100 to 200,000 people watching her live every time she goes.
Yeah.
And that if anything, is a testament to how people don't trust the government, right? And I think her popularity and surge in popularity over the past month due to this assassination should be a beacon to the government that they need to be more transparent, because if they don't fill in the holes and the gaps, other people will.
Yeah.
Right? So I think if anything, this is why they need to be transparent. Now, I like Candace. I've had her on the show. I think she's probably one of the best, female political commentators, if not the best. I have a great amount of respect for her because she leads with her brain versus her looks, right? She dresses modestly, etc. There's a reason why she's been able to build up her platform. Very brave in many different fronts. But I think this should be a sign from the government that they need to be more transparent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Go ahead. Come on up. Come on up. I know you've been here for a minute. You probably got some questions or disagreements or I don't know. What's up?
What do you think of Candace Owens? Like how open she is about Charlie's Kirk?
Yeah, like I said before, I think she's filling in a lot of the gaps for the American public that the government isn't. And that's why she's getting so many views right now.
But doesn't that put her in risk?
Of course, yeah. Telling the truth is always going to put you at risk for any topic, right? It just comes down to who are you telling the truth about and how dangerous are they? But being truthful about anything is always going to create inherent risk because there's always going to be people that have an incentive to continue lying for whatever different reason. That was it? Okay. Yeah. All right, anybody else want to come on up to the mic? Agree, disagree with anything? We're out here hanging out. It's Charlie Kirk's birthday, so this stream is dedicated to him. Obviously, the First Amendment is one of the reasons why this is the best country in the world, despite the problems that we might have here or there. I still think we're better than these other first world countries like Canada, aka Canada, or Cuckstralia, right? Or the UK, the Cuck UK. What's up, man?
So I remember you. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. I feel like this is good.
After his questioning, we'll do it. So guys, chat. I'll look at some chats here, guys. After this one.
Yeah.
OSS guys.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm only doing OSS super chats, guys. So join OSS, only $1 L YouTube.
Okay,
go ahead,
so I know you talked to Haas from the Infrared podcast back in the ACP.
Yep.
And you were just talking about Canada, right?
Yes.
So my question is, do you think Canada should be part of the United States? Do you think that they have any sovereignty? No? Why not?
No, they're cooked.
They're cooked?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're cooked. Mass immigration has destroyed that country.
I mean, so our country too, right?
It's slowly destroying us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be like them soon if we don't reel this in.
So you don't want us to help our brothers out in the north?
Nah.
Really?
I think they're a good ally, but bringing them in as a state is...
Not as a state, multiple states.
Yeah, or potentially multiple states because it's so big. I don't think so.
Okay,
I think it's a failed nation in general.
Failed nation?
It's a failed nation. So is the UK. So is Australia. We're the last ones really left. And I think this is why we need to be very cautious of how we run this country in our future, because if we don't, we're going to be like these other countries.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay. What do you think of have you read the program of the ACP?
The what?
The program of the American Communist Party that Haas founded.
So I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
Obviously I get along with, Jackson, Hinkle, and Haas. Shout out to those guys. Even though they're communists, I think that's an example of, though I disagree with them, maybe politically or ideologically, they're still good guys. I get along with them. I've had them on the show. I think hearing other perspectives is great.
Yeah,
but I haven't read the actual thing all the way. But
I think you should read it sometime if you have the time.
I mean, I think Jackson and Haas kind of explained it to me to a degree, which, and I'm, not doing it all the way justice. But basically, less government control of certain infrastructures, which I've always been kind of confused about because, that's kind of what communism is. But I'll have to have him back on the show and discuss it.
Yeah,
I think he just got his YouTube back, so we'll bring Jackson back to kind of iron it out.
All right, awesome. Could I take a selfie with you?
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay, thank you.
Take a selfie. While you do that, can we get some of those chats?
All right, thank you, man.
No problem, man.
Cool. So you came to our college campus here, and you've been visiting college campuses to have open discussion, have open dialogue. Have you ever changed your mind on anything? Or anything significant, I should say.
It's made me realize that a lot of college students are still retarded, or even more retarded. I've kind of realized that a lot of people are brainwashed, unfortunately. But I think it's good that we're having these discussions so that we can kind of show them another side, because unfortunately, I look at colleges nowadays as indoctrination camps, damn near, versus real institutions of education.
And have you gained anything from all your college tours?
I think the virality of the clips that we post and the streams in general, it does a lot of justice to kind of show people like where we stand, because colleges are the future of America. So, it shows a lot about what the current mind state is. But I will give credit where I think college students today, for, to a good part, there is a significant amount of silent people that understand conservative ideals more than my generation. But I still think it's still something we need to fix for sure. That makes sense.
Do you believe you've changed anyone's mind?
I think so. It sucks because, not everyone could come forward and say, yo, you changed my mind. I totally don't think Hitler is that bad. Like, but I do think that, I've woken some people up. It's just that they might not be able to, admit it, so to speak, because some of the topics are so taboo. But yeah, we're off. So we could talk about whatever, right? Okay. So, yeah, guys, we could talk about whatever. We're off YouTube on my platform, at least. So we could talk about, these tranny fags, the Jews having too much power, mustache man, whatever it may be.
I got one question.
Yo.
It starts off a little bit of a statement. We're talking about Penn State a little bit. I think what I've seen generally, especially in the last couple of years, is that the Penn State student body is more and more.
Just speak up a little bit.
I feel like the Penn State student body is more and more not like, super conservative or like totally far right. But it feels like growing, especially in just young people in general. People are
young men for sure are going at a good rate.
Despite the fact that the university is still extremely left.
Yeah. And that's because, and the reason also for that is because women dominate college attendance, right?
Mm.
So since women dominate college attendance nowadays, this is another reason why they tend to lean more left, right? Women are graduating at a higher rate. They're enrolling at a higher rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, and women tend to lean left just naturally because they're communitarians by nature, right? The concept of hierarchy, as I was discussing before, isn't something that they're really used to, right? I've noticed like most women don't understand it. Maybe like females that are like athletes, former athletes, they'll tend to understand it. But a lot of them don't care for it. This is why female sports suck, because they don't have this inherent need to compete. And I mean, let's be, I don't know if you guys have like a female basketball team or some shit like that, but no one gives a fuck about female sports. So, and it's because they don't give a fuck about female sports. Let's be honest. When I was a D1 athlete, right, back in the day, the women, athletes, like didn't give a fuck if they won or lost. They just cared about their scholarship, right? They just did the bare minimum, still partying and shit like that. If they sucked, they sucked. It didn't matter because Title IX allowed their athletic program to get the same amount of money as the men's ones. So, women just don't have the same proclivity to compete because they don't have to.
Now, speaking of sports, what do you think about James Franklin getting fired?
I don't keep up with sports, but who is that?
He's the head football coach.
Oh, wait. Oh, when you get
like 2 days ago.
What do you get fired for?
Just being a bad coach. I don't know if you followed it all.
No, I don't watch sports, but I mean, if he got fired for not being a good coach, then yeah, that's meritocracy. That's another example of hey, you're not winning.
Walk away with like
Get
a
the fuck
$50
outta
million like severance though, so he kind of
he won.
He gets fired for he does really poorly as a coach, but then walks away with $1 gazillion.
He won there, but but they fired him because his merit's down. So.
And then they just closed like 7 branch campuses. How many? Yeah, all right. He's trying to 6-7 right now.
Oh shit!
They closed down like 7 branch campuses and then increased the president's salary to like $1.5 million or something.
Who's the president of Penn State?
It's Neely Budapal. I can't say her last name right.
What is that? A Jeet? It's a Jeet? Neela Bendabuti? A Jeet?
Yeah, but they're closing down campuses, increasing her tuition.
Bro,
and then
I'm
giving
telling you,
her
man, it's always one of the two
$1.5
J's. It's either a Jeet or a Jew every time. It's like Indian or fucking Jew, man. It's fucking nuts. But yeah.
All right,
man.
Cool.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, guys. Whatever you guys want to discuss, whether it's why women are stupid, why ICE did nothing wrong.
Did the Holocaust happen? And if it did, was it 6 million or 273,000?
270K at best. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no. All jokes aside, when it comes to the Holocaust, which is the most censored and taboo topic you can ever discuss, because everyone is like fucking too scared. Let me just say this. All of you guys are familiar with what's going on in Gaza, right? Right? You guys are all aware of the fact that Israel's been denying that it's a genocide, right? For a while. So, let me just pose this question. If we watch the genocide for the past 2 years in HD/4K in some instances of babies getting bombed, etc., and you have the Israelis saying, oh no, we're not starving them, oh no, we're not doing a genocide, with 4K evidence, do you believe them that 6 million died back when there was no 4K evidence?
Well,
They have the capacity to lie back now with pure evidence. What stops them from lying about a certain event in World War II? You know what I mean? So that's my thing. And you know, and the reason why, we got to have a very tough discussion here. The Holocaust is a business in America, right? These memorial sites, these institutions, and basically Jewish victimhood in general is all propped up on the foundation of the Holocaust. So if you come after it and you question it, that wrecks their entire foundation, and that whole house of cards comes down. This is why so many different countries ban you for even talking about this, right? Thank God for America and freedom of speech, but I'm not going to, my position isn't that the Holocaust didn't happen, but my position is I don't think the Holocaust happened the way that the mainstream narrative tells us it happened. That's what I think when it comes down to it, right? The numbers don't make sense. Some of the memoirs don't make sense.
The door
and
is opening from the inside.
The doors, yeah, like just there's just so many things,
added
right?
on later.
And if they have the proclivity to lie, when we have pure evidence refuting it in 2025, what keeps them from lying in the 1930s and 40s as well? That with no evidence, right? Or with less evidence, or not, less capacity for high quality evidence like we have now. So that's my thing. And then when you figure out that it's an economy behind it, there's a whole victim narrative behind it, and that there are far more benefits to negatives of running with this narrative, everything starts to make sense. Because anytime you talk about this topic, what's the first thing they say? Oh, Holocaust. It's like their first thing.
And what do you think? Do you think this narrative will dissolve at all, like in the future, or
which narrative?
The Holocaust narrative. That
I think more people are becoming aware of it.
Right.
Right. It was a topic that was censored forever. Like if you even uttered it, right? Hell, I mean, we had to cut off YouTube for a reason, right? At least on my channel. And that's because of that. That's how taboo this topic is.
If Hitler would have done it, if he would have genocided, you know, every Jew in Europe, if he would have wiped, let's say, every Jew off the face of the earth, do you think modern day would have been way better?
Well, I think that's another lie. Like that they say that, like, oh, Hitler wanted to kill all the Jews. If he wanted to kill all the Jews, why did he broker the Havar agreement where 60,000 Jews were allowed to leave? You know, with their resources over to Israel. And another fun fact for you guys is, like, there was no leader in the world that contributed more to Israel than Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. A significant amount of their economic growth in the 1930s came from Adolf Hitler.
Right.
But the crazy part is, I promise, none of you guys are going to hear this at this university or anywhere else, because they don't want you guys to know the truth. So when they sit there and they say, oh, yeah, he hated all Jews and he wanted to kill them all. I mean, look, when you look at the facts, if you hate a whole group of people like that, why would you tell them, oh, you guys can go to Israel and, hang out over there and we'll let you go with all your resources?
Well, my question was, do you think just a world without Jews, like, and, you know, maybe we shouldn't generalize them all as in, like, common,
yeah, I don't.
commoner Jews.
I go off individualism, right? So I think, let's give credit where it's due. The Jewish people have given many contributions to society, though some of them I might not necessarily agree with. So I think a world without them would not be good.
But do you think,
I think we need them.
Transgenderism, modern day
that's one of the negatives that came from them.
Okay.
That's one of the negatives, right? But I think, to blame an entire group of people, that's where we start getting into retard land. And I think it's very important to be nuanced and look at things from an individual perspective. Not every Jew is bad, but a lot of the times when bad things happen, it's from Jews, right? Not every black person is a criminal, but a lot of the times when violent crime happens, it tends to be a black person, right? So it is what it is, right? Stereotypes stick because they tend to be true a lot of the time.
And how do you feel
but
about
not
people
every time.
that accuse you of being controlled opposition? Like, I know a lot of people are accusing Candace Tucker, just for being on the other side of Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, I mean, look,
opposition.
I think if you're controlled opposition, they're not going to ban you off everything and close your banks and, put you on a no-fly list or censor you or whatever if you're controlled opposition. So that whole concept is just, I'll be honest, the controlled opposition thing a lot of times comes from haters that don't have an audience. So they want to kind of say, look, they're controlled opposition. Look at me. I'm the truth. And it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, no one cares. Now, are there real controlled ops? Of course.
Yeah.
But it's a term that gets thrown out around.
Do you think Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, considering Tucker Carlson's dad was CIA agent?
That is questionable with his father's background. But what I will say is this. Love or hate Candace or Tucker, they're waking up a lot of people on this topic. Because remember, they have enormous reach to a lot of normies. So you'll go ahead and watch Candace Owens and Tucker. That will lead you back to a Myron Gaines, a Nick Fuentes, a Jake Shields, or one of these other guys. So, like, that's why I think it's important, because at least they get normies into this topic, right? So I think it's a net positive. Even though some people might say, oh, it's controlled opposition, I still think it's a net positive because you'll find other people.
And how's your personal relationship with Nick Fuentes?
It's great. Good guy.
Thank you.
Good dude.
What's up, Myron?
What's up, man? How are you?
I watch Fresh and Fit a lot.
Nice.
I was wondering, like, what your opinion is on, like, how social media affects, like, younger people.
Makes them stupider. Yeah. I'll say that for sure. Less attention span. That's one of the big differences I notice when I talk to younger people versus older people, is like their attention span is like TikTok brain.
Yeah.
Lazier, more victim mindset. But, it's created a lot of positives too.
Yeah.
But I would say the biggest takeaway from a negative standpoint is like a lot of young people tend to operate on like what I call a fast food society, because we live in a society now where it's like you can call an Uber to your house, call Uber Eats to your house. You got immediate convenience. And unfortunately, that has trickled into a lot of young people's other worldviews and habits.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, thank you, bro.
Cool. Any disagreements, guys, on whether it's the Jews, women being dumb, black people committing a lot of crimes? What else? Indians stinking. What was that? Oh, transgenders, yep, being mentally ill. I don't think transgenders should be able to have guns under the 18 USC 922. So, oh, come on, ladies. I see you guys over there, like, giving me a weird look. Come on over. You guys can both go to the mic, and if you disagree, don't be scared. See, I told you guys liberals are terrified to talk, man. It's like they never want to debate. They always want to say you're wrong, but then you give them a chance. Okay, well, prove me wrong, and they can't do it. And the fucking weirdo guy from before, Bandana Fag, he didn't really have much to say. Came in and just spurged out on H-2A visas or whatever the fuck. So, yeah, guys, any disagreements, man? Like, this is your chance. Take down the bigot. I promise I don't bite. And I won't make fun of you. Too hard. So, come on up. Any ladies that disagree with me when I say men are superior to women? Because I truly do think men are superior to women in almost everything that matters. Come on, guys, don't get scared. There's a bunch of you guys here. Questions, comments, concerns? Hey, we ride this thing till the wheels fall off. Till the fucking battery dies, man. All right. What's up, man? Damn, everybody's scared today, man. Guys, don't tell me that USC is more brave than you guys, man. Oh, okay. So fucking idiots from South Carolina are more brave? All right, man. What's up, man?
I just walked up here, and I heard a little bit about what you were saying about like the Holocaust and Hitler a little bit and some of the stats. So I guess just the impression I've had for most of my life, I actually am Jewish, so that probably does
every single time.
Yeah, it definitely comes with the stuff I've been hearing and whatever. So I can at least try to acknowledge that.
Are you pro-Israel or not?
I am pro-Israel.
Okay. Got a Zionist in the house? Okay.
You're a Zionist? Yeah.
Guys, show some respect. Show some respect.
I'd like to think I'm pretty. I definitely am critical of both sides. If I have to align myself, just like yes or no, I would say I'm definitely pro-Israel for the most part.
Just listen to the mic, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Stay close to the mic so you can hear me.
I guess. I'd be happy to talk a little about Israel. I guess.
Speak up, and guys, try to be quiet in the back, guys, just so he can, you guys can hear what he's saying. So yeah, go. Just speak up so everybody can hear. Go ahead.
No, I guess I'd be willing to talk about Israel.
You said you wanted to come up. What's your disagreement? What's your grievance?
Mostly just, I guess, about what you were saying about some of the like figures during the Holocaust.
Okay. What's your grievance?
I guess I'm just more familiar with like the number that's like 6 million Jews were killed. And you had said I think 270,000.
Yeah, that's the number that the Red Cross came up with.
I think I've heard that. So why is it that you think that it was fewer?
Well, I mean, for them to conduct, 6 million people is a lot. Okay, I think people, grossly underestimate how much 6 million really is, and for them to do that amount of killing in that short period of time, via ovens, it just simply, the math doesn't math, right? It just doesn't make sense. So, it's just damn near impossible. And then when you find out that, there's a proclivity to lie, to prop up this narrative, because there is a fundamental economic benefit to doing so, because we have an entire industry based around that. They're going to do what they got to do to make money and get sympathy, because the entire Jewish narrative of victimhood stems from the Holocaust. So they're going to fight tooth and nail to protect that.
So you're saying that it's like sort of profitable economically to
absolutely.
Like,
there's an entire
sympathy?
there's movies that have been made on it. There's memorials. There's museums. There's a huge financial incentive to kind of run with that official narrative. And then on top of that, not only does it serve economically, it also serves politically. They're able to use that to justify their reckless foreign policy, right, that they're doing now. They're saying never again as they bomb kids and conduct a genocide, right? They say never again when they're over here passing anti-Semitism laws. They're saying never again when the international community tries to hold them accountable. When Netanyahu got indicted by the ICC, what did he say? Oh, this is anti-Semitism, oy vey. Like, the entire Jewish victim narrative is propped up by the Holocaust for both financial, political, and sympathy reasons.
Okay. I mean, I'd certainly say, that's logical, that's sound. The only, I guess, the way that I disagree...
And I want to be clear, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but
No,
I just
yeah,
question
I
how it's been said it happened by the official narrative.
I sort of disagree, like, a little bit in two ways.
All right.
Like, first of all, I would say, like, the 270,000 versus 6 million in terms of, like, sympathy, I think that those two numbers resonate. Like,
Both are terrible.
They're both terrible, of course. We both agree. But, I mean, in terms of how much that, resonates with, like, people who are going to be visiting these museums and voting for certain people and politicians, like, I don't think that the two different numbers really would make a humongous difference in terms of the amount of sympathy they're gaining.
They're both atrocities, but the problem is lying or exaggerating to garner that sympathy. That's the problem.
Okay, so then I guess
that makes sense.
The thing I was going to say is, like, just the fact that 6 million sounds like a hugely, like, overestimated number doesn't make it seem, like, impossible to me, especially from all the stuff that I've heard. Like, I know that they had, like, I mean, these cremation ovens that they had, like, it really is ridiculous. If you read about some of the, which I'm sure that you have.
Yeah. It's just not physically possible. Like, the cremation process takes at least 1 to 2 hours with modern technology. How are they going to do that with, during World War II era technology?
They had group ovens, and they would bring in large groups of people. Like, for example, at Auschwitz, I've seen, like, pictures of some of the ovens they have. I remember hearing something about, someone said, like, 2 ovens running, like, continuously over the course of, like, World War II during the Holocaust.
It would be impossible.
It would be impossible, but it's not true that there were 2. I mean, there were countless.
Yeah, I think the main
camps.
number is 15, but even with 15, it'd be impossible. You saw 2, but
Okay, I don't know, like, all of the...
it's where the Cookie Monster meme comes from, actually. Shirts and stores, by the way, guys.
Monster? Oh, is it with cookies?
Yeah, I got the cookie. Yeah.
You couldn't bake that many cookies.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just can't bake that many cookies at that time, bro. It's just impossible, man.
Again, I don't know all of the exact numbers, but, like, I've heard just from, like, stuff that I've been exposed to, like, the amount of, like, it is possible. Like, I feel like neither of us have...
Anything is possible, but what we need to get to is it probable? That's where the real discussion is had. Anything is possible, but is it probable?
I just think that the answer, like, it did, like, there was enough. There were enough ovens, and it did happen. That's what I think.
I'm not disputing that it happened. I'm disputing that it happened the way that the official narrative says 6 million happened. They had a whole bunch of other, ridiculous things like, oh, they turned us into soap. We were hitting these gas chambers. We all, like, it just, a lot of things just don't add up. But anybody else, or do you have anything else on that?
I don't think I have anything else.
All right, no worries, man. Good discussion.
Thank you for your time.
No problem, bro. Thank you for coming on the mic. What's up, man?
Yeah, I just had like some questions about like
Sure.
the Holocaust, like the number. How did
Alright.
they like claim to get to the number of 6 million? And how do you think like
the number 6 is a very important number to the Jewish people? That's why.
That's why. So they just fabricated the number 6 million out of nowhere.
I mean, there had literally been like when there had been news articles and clippings of them talking about 6 million well before World War II in the early 1900s.
So you think like so how many people do you think died in the Holocaust?
The Red Cross estimates at around 271K.
So you think like the 271K people died and then they just came up with the 6 million number like out of thin air, or was it like?
Yeah, I mean, they have an affinity to number, and there's documentation of it before, well before World War II. But again, I think it was exaggerated for a host of different benefits that we discussed earlier, economically, diplomatically, politically, sympathy-wise, all that stuff.
So how did they like? So did they just get to the number 6 million with no like records or proof or anything, or was it like?
They claim they have like all these records that they found and everything else like that, but the physical evidence is just very difficult to back that up, So it's and there's they do everything in their power to not have that discussion too. It's illegal to even question it in several countries.
So you think they just completely like? It's just a completely fabricated number. There's like no.
I would argue that there isn't enough evidence to substantiate that number during that era and time in the way that they claim it happened.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Anybody else? Why women are stupid? Why? Okay, go ahead.
How's it going?
All right. As soon as I said women are dumb, somebody came right up. All right, go ahead.
Good.
What's up? Talking to Mike so they can hear you.
I feel like the WNBA is not worthless. I actually think it's pretty valuable to the United States in general.
Okay, why is it valuable?
Because other countries have women's sports, but not like us. Okay. Like I feel like. Oh.
Yeah, just talk right into it. Yeah, you can raise it up if you need to.
All right, I feel like the New York Liberties right now could beat 2013 Golden State Warriors. No,
yeah, this nigga drunk.
That's a great take.
Okay.
Hold on.
Hey, bro's drunk, man.
Hold on. Wait. Yo, what's this guy's name? Myron.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. What's your thoughts on that, though?
About that WNBA?
What I just said.
About them beating the Golden State Warriors?
I feel like at a certain point, they average 90 points a game.
Yeah, but that's because they're playing against other women.
What do you think about getting transgenders on the team?
Okay, so let's address the first thing. Women's sports sucks. And since women's sports sucks, by definition, the WNBA sucks too. It's negative every year. Nobody wants to watch it.
It's like tomato.
The
You're
NBA,
like 6'7".
I mean,
it's
not really tomato. It's
it's
literally
like 6'7".
It's literally tomatoes because it's trash. We got to throw tomatoes at them.
No.
Look. Let me make my point. Female sports sucks. No one cares about female sports. The WNBA is negative every single year.
That's not true.
They're not profitable. Every single year they lose money. The WNBA is what keeps them afloat. And the reason for that is because no one's going to watch the WNBA when they can watch the NBA and watch the pinnacle of human strength, capability, and athleticism.
What about the peak of women's physical limitations? You feel me?
Okay, so let me. I said this earlier, but I'll say it again because we have way more people here.
Right.
This is what women's sports is. Women's sports is basically like a retarded kid makes a painting, and you're sitting there damn, that painting is beautiful. That's women's sports. Oh man, you guys are trying. This is awesome, but they're still retarded.
Kids' art because it's a different perspective on the brain.
Yeah, they tried. It's cute.
Look at women's sports,
but it still sucks.
On the body.
Look, if I had a kid, right, and he gave me a painting, and that shit was trash, right, or if a retarded person came to me and gave, I made this for you. Hold on. Let me finish my point. He comes up to me and he gives me a painting. Says, I made this for you. I'm gonna say, damn, thank you, even though that shit is trash. He's not Van Gogh.
All right, wait. If there's a guy with
Mike.
Oh, if there's a guy with a stutter, right, and he's a rapper, right?
Okay.
People might fuck with his music because he's a rapper with a stutter. You know?
All right. Name one rapper with a stutter that's made it.
Kevin Gates.
Does he stutter when he raps?
He has a new song called Stutter.
Okay. Does he stutter on that song? Well, he hasn't been relevant in years, so. All right. Fair. Bro tried. He tried. I give him respect. He tried, man. Bro came in knowing, damn, this is going to be a tough argument. Female sports do suck. Hey, ladies, don't be scared, man. I see a couple of you guys in here hiding in the back. If you're a feminist or you don't think women should be in the kitchen, because I do think they should be in the kitchen. Yes, I'm looking at you, Ms. Glasses. Women should definitely be in the kitchen. Look, they're just... I'm telling you, this is what happens with the liberals, man. They just get terrified. Oh, no, my worldview is being challenged. So, you don't think women should be in the kitchen? All right, here we go. Yeah, we got the white knight to defend their honor.
Golden Knight.
Yeah. All right, why do you think women should not be in the kitchen?
Nah. So, like, me personally. Now,
All right,
me
go ahead.
personally, I'm a pretty good cook, right?
All right.
My dad, when he was way younger before I was born, he owned a restaurant. I think men and women should both cook because, like, I don't know. I feel like women should also, like, they should support income, build the house up type shit.
So you think men and women should go 50-50?
It's
go.
like
That answers everything we need to
situationally.
know. Yeah, like it doesn't work, bro.
When's the last time you cooked your own meal?
I don't cook.
You don't cook?
I don't cook. I just.
What's your diet like?
High protein, lots of fruits and vegetables. But I don't cook because it doesn't make sense financially, right?
So
to
you have
cook.
your girlfriend cook?
No, I didn't even really make them cook. No, I'd
Man.
rather just order out because it's easier.
Why don't you make them cook?
Well, I could if I wanted. I think she should be capable of always cooking, but financially and everything else like that, there's just, for me, I think it's faster to just get shit done by ordering.
Type shit. Okay.
You know? So.
Nah, that's like.
But I think women in a relationship should be capable of cooking if their man says it.
I did not get.
But it's fine. Let's get one of the girls on the mic. If you guys disagree that women should cook, because I'll be honest, a lot of you girls aren't going to get a guy like me that will order in. So some of you guys got to. Oh, who's back? The feminists are back? Come on, feminists. Don't get scared just because there's a little bit of a crowd here. I don't bite, I promise. Damn, man. Yo, at least the people at USC are a lot braver, man. Yo, Penn State, man. Y'all. This is disappointing, man. People fucking terrified. So anyway, the topics that we're discussing are ICE did nothing wrong. Men are superior to women. Jews have too much power. It wasn't 6 million during the Holocaust. Black people commit too many crimes in relation to their population size. Bring back racism and bigotry. Trannies don't deserve to have guns. Go ahead.
I have another question. So, like, with the whole, like, sex work and, like, females working in OnlyFans and things like that,
yeah.
Do you think the women are more to blame or the men who pay for the, like, subscriptions for OnlyFans and things like that?
Both parties. The men are simps for doing that. The women are whores. But it's a two-way street for sure. But I also think that the problem is that we've kind of like incentivized women to be whores because there's, it's a very lucrative endeavor. I can't tell you how many girls like drop out of college or leave, the professional workforce to be whores instead of, having a job just to make ends meet. They'd rather, take the easy way out.
Like, you agree that, like, if there weren't guys that were, like, paying for their stuff,
of course,
there
they
wouldn't be as
create
much
that
of an
demand.
incentive
Yeah,
for
and
them
that's a
to do
problem.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely on two parts. And this is why I think like why we need to start taking away some women's rights. And the reason why we need to take so let me kind of break this down. And I got to say this loud so everybody understands because I know what I just said is shocking. The reason why we need to start taking away women's rights is because when you give women rights, they do stupid shit, right? Women are not designed to lead, work, make money, be providers or protectors. That's a male job, okay? And on top of that, women aren't supposed to be whores. But what we've done is we've removed all the social gates that kept women from being whores. There's no more shame. Religion is gone. Father figures are gone. So all the institutions that were put there to keep women in check are effectively gone. So if we want to get back to a proper society where the nuclear family is the, cornerstone, we need to start by reeling in some of these female rights. We could start with the right to vote, then slowly but surely tell them they need to get back in the kitchen. And we do it in waves. So the hot girls go back to the kitchen first. The mids next, then the black girls, then the fat girls. It's kind of like when you board a plane. Do it in different waves. Actually, no, the black girls would be group. Yeah, they'd be later on. They'd be like group 9, back of the plane. But we got to get them back in the kitchen at some point.
Well, don't you think that there would be more women in the kitchen if it wasn't for men platforming them and allowing them to do these like promiscuous things such as like OnlyFans
No, I
and
mean
things like
it's definitely a problem. That's why I said we got to do this, slowly but surely.
So like, do you think it's more of a women's right? Because I would argue that in this situation, it's a little bit more on the men for giving them this, because they'd be what's the word I'm thinking of?
Yeah, because men give them the rights. Yeah, so it's on us. Yeah, yeah. So we slowly need to transition. And I think honestly, if we tell women the truth, if more guys were honest with women instead of wanting to get laid and told them, hey, you're a bimbo, you need to get back in the kitchen, they would actually, and they went back in the kitchen and they realized, damn, working isn't really that fun. I enjoy making sandwiches and having a family and having a guy that protects me and shit like that. Like, if we got them back in the kitchen, they would realize being in the kitchen is fun. I hear feminists all the time, once they get a job, damn, like, this sucks. Like, I didn't sign up for this. They thought they were going to be able to have this Sex in the City lifestyle, but really what it comes down to is being a whore in the city lifestyle.
So do you think, like, let's say hypothetically I married a woman that made more than me, do you think that would make me less of a man?
Yeah, you're cooked. If you get with a girl that makes more money than you, it's a matter of time until she starts fucking niggers. It's a matter of time.
All right, thank you.
No worries. Make more money, guys, to make sure your girl doesn't get fucked by a bunch of Nigerians. They're like, oh shit. Hey man, it's true, bro. Like,
all right, it's like my 5th time up, but I have a good question.
$1,000 a day keeps a nigger away.
It's relevant. Do you believe, since you're spamming nigger so much, do you believe in interracial marriage or no, or interracial relationships in general?
I don't mind it, and I know some people might disagree with it. I think people should have the right to, if they want to. Here's my thing. I don't have a problem with interracial marriage. But at the same time, I don't have a problem with people that say, I don't like interracial marriage. If someone says, I want a white family, they shouldn't be ridiculed for that. If someone says, I want a black family, they shouldn't be ridiculed for that. I think people should be able to marry and or be in a relationship with the people that they want.
Wrong.
But we also can't, try to shit on people that want to keep their race pure to a degree either.
So you don't think it's inherently wrong, but do you think there's consequences that come out of it? Like, especially in the West, especially with the whole, I know a lot of people, especially in Europe right now too, are.
I mean, that's like, so dealing with interracial marriage, that's like stepping over $100 bills to pick up pennies. Let me explain what I mean by this. The nuclear family is the pinnacle. Focusing on interracial marriage, we haven't even, like, interracial marriage and stuff like that is a problem down the road. We need to get men and women back together first and fix the nuclear family. Then we could talk about the nuanced details of how that family should look.
Right.
But I think for now, we need to focus on getting men back out there, be competent, be leaders, start families. Then from there, we could talk about preserving race and all this other stuff. But I think the bigger problem at hand is the destruction of the nuclear family first.
You think like countries in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, UAE, etc., where do you think they went right and, we went wrong? We as in the West went wrong.
The thing that they have right is they understand that women are supposed to be subordinates. Women just started being able to drive in Saudi Arabia in like 2018.
Right.
And now it's one of the most dangerous countries in the world. So, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, it started with, them keeping women in check. Because we know keep women in check, your society fails. Okay. Because every pernicious liberal movement has been spearheaded by feminism.
I think something to note also isn't just keeping women in check. I think countries, predominant Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, for example, they it's illegal to fornicate there. You know what I mean?
Well, so, out of wedlock, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean they have strong family values, they have conservative values, and that helps with keeping a society, together.
And do you think something should be?
And guys, if you guys want to come on up, we want to get some new faces. So if you disagree, agree with some of my stance. I know some of it might be radical to some of you guys. I might be hearing this shit for the first time. But yeah. But sorry, last question, bro, and then we'll go to the next person.
Yeah. With concern to sex before marriage here in the U.S. or in Europe, how can you guarantee that we won't slip back into liberalism and whatnot if sex before marriage is just always allowed?
It's never going back, unfortunately. Like the thing is that we're too far gone with feminism. The way men need to like operate now is they just need to assume every girl's a whore, and have that girl prove them wrong.
True, yeah.
That because if you come in thinking that she's gonna be like not a whore, then you're gonna be disappointed. So come in assuming she's a whore and let her prove to you that she's not a whore. Like we need to start putting a burden of performance back on women. Like we need to like get them to prove to us they can make a good sandwich. They're not a slut. They don't get gang banged by a bunch of blacks. You know what I mean? So that's how we need to approach it now, because so many women are whores and promiscuous that you just need to come in assuming they're that way and then prove otherwise. Because let's be honest, women are going to make you guys fucking prove yourself, right? Sure. What's your status? How much money you make? How tall are you? Blah, blah, blah. All right, bitch, like, are you a whore or not? So we need to start putting standards on females. All right, who's the next person?
You.
Agreement, disagreement? That's fine. We'll ride this bitch to we're gonna ride this bitch till the wheels fall off with the batteries turn off. So who's up next? Come on, guys, don't be scared. We're talking about Jews have too much power, women are inferior to men. What else? Blacks commit too much crime. ICE did nothing wrong. Yeah, go ahead. Indians stink.
Hi, how are you doing?
What's up?
I would like to know what your thoughts are on the Gaza war as it's hopefully come to an end, and looking forward at the situation.
Yeah, it's a temporary ceasefire. The Israelis already broke it like earlier today. And you know, I'm just glad that the genocide is over for the most part, and they're getting aid back in there. But this conflict they're gonna keep fighting. And the reason why they're going to keep fighting is because Netanyahu and the Israelis do not want the Palestinians to have the right to self-determination. They don't want to give them a two-state. They're definitely not going to, include them in a one-state. So that's the thing that sucks.
Do you think that Hamas wants a self-determination or a one or two?
Yeah, that's the whole reason why they fight. It's literally why they fight.
They don't want a two-state solution, though. They want a one-state solution.
They actually
where there's no Israel and there's only Muslims.
No, they did agree to 67 borders before.
Hamas did?
Yeah, they did. They did.
And I feel I have an inkling that they would continue to commit terrorist attacks on Israel.
I would argue, if you're going to call Hamas terrorists, I would argue the IDF are terrorists too. Both commit acts of violence in furtherance of a political ideology. That's the definition of terrorism.
Can you say that last part again? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
The definition of terrorism is the act of basically committing violent acts in furtherance of a political or social ideology of some kind. The IDF fits that definition just like Hamas does. And the reality comes down to, and this is the ugly reality, it really comes down to your perspective. For some people in the Arab world, they look at Hamas as freedom fighters, right? And look at the IDF as terrorists. And then you go to the West and they look at it the opposite way. Hamas are terrorists and the IDF are freedom fighters. It's really a matter of perspective of where you stand and where you are. But the thing that's irrefutable is that the Palestinian people have been illegally occupied by the Israelis since, they got kicked out in 48 and then they've been occupied since 1967. So I think the Israelis need to understand that, like, if you illegally occupy people, you don't give them any rights, you have an apartheid state, you're never going to have peace. So until the Israelis figure out how to live in harmony and answer the Palestine question, they're always going to have problems in the Middle East.
And when you say the Israelis were occupying Palestinian land since
67.
Who are they occupying the land from?
From the Palestinians. And they're also occupying it from the Syrians in the Golan Heights.
So
the West Bank, Golan Heights, or Gaza for a while until they still occupy Gaza too. And then they're continuously expanding the West Bank settlements illegally.
So would you say that between 1948 and 1967 that Egypt was occupying the Gaza Strip and Jordan was occupying the West Bank?
Yeah, sure. But the difference is these are their Arab brothers, right? These are other Muslims. Like it's different. And it's not the same brutal occupation that the Israelis are doing now, where they have no rights. They don't have any right to self-determination. They're marginalized in every way. They can't take certain roads. So it's all good. It's a little bit of wind.
So,
hey, can one of you guys fix that? Go ahead.
You're saying that the Israelis didn't allow the Palestinians to have self-determination, which is something I think they should change in their policies.
They should
just to
change,
get
you
that
think?
straight. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's
so, but-
the conflict's never going to end until they do.
But my question with that is between 48 and 67, the Egyptians nor the Jordanians allowed the Palestinians to have self-determination in that time period, and between those years, the Palestinian identity, as it's known today, was not yet widespread or like really enacted.
So, the reality is the way they're occupied now, right, by the Israelis, where they have absolutely no rights. Like, the occupation by the Israelis is the most brutal by far. I see your perspective. You're saying, well, Jordan and Egypt, it's not the same as what Israel's doing. And my biggest problem, by the way, and why this issue, is that we fund it as Americans. Like, my concern is we fund that bullshit, right? So that's my biggest gripe.
And I personally think that, I'm not going to say the U.S. should cut entirely their funding to Israel.
I think we should cut all aid to them.
From a Zionist perspective, I think that Israel is too dependent on the United States, that they can't act in their own interest because they have, the U.S., whatever administration it is, whispering in their ear, not forcing per se, but encouraging them to act in the U.S.'s interest rather than in the interest of Israel, which the two, in certain circumstances, are intertwined, but not always.
Yeah, I get your perspective, but the reality is that Israel would not be able to survive if not for U.S. support. If the U.S. pulled, which I think we should pull all their aid, you guys would either have to A, make peace with your neighbors, or B, be destroyed by your neighbors, and it would probably happen very quickly. Missiles would rain down on Tel Aviv like they did before. It would be very bad, and that would force them to the negotiating table and actually exercise diplomacy. The problem is that the Israelis have never had to actually operate or exercise diplomacy in good faith because they've always had U.S. backing, right? And they have an illegal nuclear program too. So this has emboldened them to do reckless foreign policy that we end up eating later on, like we're seeing with Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan alliance, etc., and furthering their influence by China and Russia. So there are trickle-down effects to our foreign policy that's being run by the Israelis. So the reality is you guys can't operate without the United States. And I think that we do need to pull aid so that Israel can get a reality check and make peace with their neighbors and actually negotiate in good faith, which I think the United States can get in the middle and help that. But I do think that we need to, get them off the tit at this point and tell them, look, we're not going to give you guys any more aid. We'll be happy to broker some type of agreement between you and Iran and all these other Muslim countries, but the aid date ends here. And we broker that, stop the aid. They have to give the Palestinians a state of some kind and give them some sovereignty. We go from there.
In the past, they have several different times given the opportunity.
Every single plan that they gave was bullshit. So 1937 Peel Commission, they never negotiated in good faith. Ben Gurion admitted to his son in his memoirs that the goal was to always expand Israel. 1947 partition plan, only about 1/3 of the population was Israeli. They only owned about 6% of the land that they legally purchased, and they wanted all the farmland. They wanted 56% of the population while only being 1/3 of the population. Makes no sense. And they expected the Palestinians to take all the shitty non-fertile land.
I mean, much of the land that, like the early
67.
No, I'm saying like the early Zionist settlers when they first came, most of their land was on like malaria-infested swampland that they worked and tilled the land back into.
Well, they stole a lot of the good land
from
the Palestinians, and they also had labor unions.
Well, they bought a lot of it from.
They only bought 7%
from absentee.
By 1947,
absentee landowners from the Ottoman
Empire. This is what I'm trying to tell you. They only owned by 1947 6.6% of land legally in Palestine. This is why and this is what no one ever talks about, the pro-Zionists. The reason why the Palestinians rejected that plan in 1947, the partition plan, is because they only owned 7% of the land, but they wanted 56% of the land, and they were less than 1/3 of the population. So imagine this. Someone breaks into your house after you let them in. Actually, no, they come into your house, you invite them in. You leave for a week, you come back, locks are changed, they got the master bedroom and the whole upstairs, all the best parts of the house. You got the garage and a side bathroom. You probably, and then they say, okay, bro, I know you were here first and everything else like that, but you guys are just gonna be this in this area of the house. What would you do? You'd probably say, fuck that. You'd fight to get your main bedroom, your master bedroom back, your bathroom, etc. That's precisely what happened to Palestinians. And you would reject any deal that this invader gave you that favors them. You would reject it because you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is bullshit.
My response to that is like, before the establishment of the state of Israel, there had already been several large-scale attacks on Jewish communities within
were there on Palestinian communities,
but not to the same extent. Like the Hebron massacre, it was a I believe 1924. I could be wrong, but the Jewish community of Hebron had been there hundreds of years, and then the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem at the time, Haj Amin al-Husseini, who later conspired with the Nazis during World War II, was one of the largest, or had one of the largest payrolls.
And here's the thing: you're right. There were battles at different villages, everything else like that. But the reality is, the Palestinians were there first in modern society. They went ahead and they destroyed a bunch of villages, Deir Yassin massacre, a whole bunch. There were far more Palestinians that were killed during that era than Israelis. And the reason why is because the Israelis had superior firepower because they smuggled a bunch of guns illegally there while under embargo. And the state of Israel was created through terrorism. The IDF that you know now was made by the Haganah, Irgun, and Sturden gang. These were paramilitary Zionist organizations that conducted acts of terrorism to create the state of Israel. So I find it very ironic that Israel complains about Hamas, Hezbollah, all these organizations that were actually formulated to combat their state, which was actually made via terrorism. The state of Israel in itself was created by the very terrorism they complain that the Arab world imparts against them.
I disagree on like the intent behind. I do think that I do agree with you that there were acts of terrorism by the pre-IDF paramilitary groups, but I think the extent to which and the purpose of which they're committed, I'm not justifying them, but I think it's different situations. For, like, you don't see.
I mean, the only different situation is that the Israelis were smart enough to rebrand. Same terrorists, just rebrand. Menachem Begin, the guy who later became prime minister, he was the head of the Irgun. He was the planner of the King David Hotel bombing that killed almost 100 people, to include Jews. So, we look the other way when Jews commit terrorism, but when Muhammad does it, we're all like, yeah, get rid of these fucking goat fuckers. Like, the reality is that Israel was created on terrorism, and now terrorism is hitting them back because they created their country via that way. And they refuse. The worst part is, not only did they do it to create their nation, they're refusing to make it right and give them some type of sovereignty. So, of course, there's going to continue to be conflict. You can't come in and oppress people and take their land and expect them to sit there and say, okay, cool. They've tried peaceful protest, by the way. They did the Great March in 2018. What did the Israelis do? The IDF was shooting at kids and sniping them and hitting them in certain body parts.
At the same time, like in the 1948 war after the establishment of the state of Israel, they encouraged. There were instances where they did forcefully expel many Arabs, which is terrible. But at the same time, in the Declaration of Independence, they encouraged their Arab neighbors who were living amongst them to stay, and the neighboring Arab nations.
No, really, they expelled them. That's what the Nakba is. Like they literally got expelled.
The term Nakba.
That's why the catastrophe
was originally created to declare the fact that the Arab armies didn't succeed in wiping out the newly founded state of Israel. And it's been
well, they got kicked out. Like they got the Palestinians literally got expelled from their homes after the conflict. That's why it's called a catastrophe. Like 700,000
still live in Israel proper.
Yeah, but 700,000 of them got kicked out.
And many of the ones
and a lot of them ended up in Gaza.
Many of the ones who left were left on grounds of the invading Arab armies that said, leave, we're going to go drive the Jews into the sea, and then after we finish the war and all the Jews are gone, you guys can come back and live happily without any Jews in the land.
They got expelled, man. They
Like,
literally got
certainly
expelled.
Certainly, many of them.
Right,
did.
and then they didn't. That's why they thought they would be able to come back. That's why a lot of them took their keys, but that was all a lie. They got expelled. Guys, I got to piss real. Guys, what's the closest bathroom right here? I got to piss.
All right.
Where? All right, I'm gonna run in there real quick.
Have a good day.
Read chats. No worries. Why the battery? Fuck, we gotta end it now. God damn it! All right. Shit. You know what? All right. We'll end it here. What I'm thinking is, how long we should do a fucking round two. Charge the battery, come back out here. All right, let's we'll get one more person on the mic. One more person. Disagreement only.
I have a question.
Is it a question that's a disagreement?
Not really.
All right, we need a disagreement for the last one. I'm sorry, yeah. Go ahead. If the battery dies on us, we'll yeah. So
if ICE did nothing wrong, why are they wearing masks to hide their faces?
oh sure. The reason for that is to not be doxxed
Okay.
for doing their jobs and then being harassed.
Okay. I mean, policemen expose their faces all day. Like,
Federal agents are a lot different than local police officers.
shouldn't they have the same level of accountability?
For sure, and that's why you can, report. You can always make a report to the Office of Inspector General with DHS, or ICE
Find
OPR.
out who it was. How do you know who to make a report about?
Well, all you got. Well, here's the thing: you can get their badge number. They'll hide their face, but they'll give you their badge number. They'll show you their credentials.
No, not always.
I mean,
That's
if you
been a
ask them,
very serious problem that they haven't done so.
well, I'll tell you, as of someone who used to be a former special agent, if they ask for your credentials, you produce them, and you can
Not
absolutely
what we're
produce
seeing
them.
right now.
What's that?
It's not what we're seeing right now.
I mean, if people say, "Hey, I need to see your creds," they'll show them. It's just that a lot of people don't ask because they don't know.
And a lot of times people ask and they do not provide that.
They will provide if you ask. You can't take a picture of them, obviously, but
Why
you can.
not?
You can. It's just not allowed. Like you can, because a lot of these agents work undercover, or they're plainclothes investigators, so it's different. You can't take a picture of the credentials, but you can absolutely, like, what's their name? Okay, what's their credential number? Boom, and then you can make a report to the OIG. Or you could go to, or you could go to the local field
As
office.
someone who grew up like hearing about the Holocaust, like I have a grandmother and a great grandmother who survived it. This far too parallels what I saw growing up hearing about that. I know in my heart, like when I see that things, I can see what's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know as much as you do, but I know enough to know that this is wrong.
Yeah, well, the problem is that they're here illegally, right? And this is the problem, is that we've gotten so comfortable with allowing illegal aliens to reside in the United States that when people do their jobs, it's looked at as inhumane or awful. But the reality is they should have never been here in the first place, and they're breaking the law. But we've softened up so much where ICE can't even do their job without being ridiculed. Now, when it comes to the whole masking, like I said before, there's many different ways that you can go ahead and figure out who this agent is. You can go down to the field office, call the local field office. Hey, these guys conduct this person was arrested, blah, blah. You can look up the alien that got arrested in the ICE inmate locator. There's many ways to figure out or lodge a complaint against ICE. But the reality is that a lot of these people actually are here illegally. They're not supposed to be here. They're deportable. And ICE is doing their job. It's just that the shock value is because we've completely not been doing what we're supposed to do.
Just doing their jobs too.
What was that?
The Nazis were just doing their jobs too.
Well, I mean, that's a subjective perspective depending on where you want to go. But when it comes to what's going on here, we have laws, immigration laws. They break the INA. It is what it is.
Maybe it's legal, but it's not right.
You can make the argument that them being here illegally isn't right.
That may be true as well, but
Then if you break the law, then there's going to be consequences. I think that we have one of the best, judicial systems from a fairness perspective compared to other countries. Right? We're not the best at all. We're not perfect, but we're better than a lot of other places. We do have due process, First Amendment, etc.
You can like logic your way through.
Well, that's how things work, is
discussion.
logic. I'm operating on logic. You're operating on feeling, and that's the problem.
Um,
And this is why women shouldn't be in positions of power. No offense.
This is why women shouldn't be in positions.
Yeah, this
of power.
this conversation right now actually perfectly demonstrates.
Should not be in positions of power.
Yeah, yeah, and the reason
Gotcha.
why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this conversation proves that. Like, with all due respect, I'm coming from a logically sound, pragmatic perspective. Yes, it sucks that people are being deported, but they broke the law. You're, tapping into emotion and, empathy, which is fine, and sympathy. But the reality is they broke the law. You got to make tough decisions sometimes and do what's right for the country versus doing what's right for that individual.
What about the various ICE officers who themselves have broken the law?
How'd they break the law?
There's been lots of stories of like not showing warrants and things like that when they legally have to do that.
Well, an immigration warrant is significantly different than a federal arrest warrant. It's a completely different system. The immigration system has its own courts, its own judges, own lawyers.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question.
That does. They don't have the same need to show a warrant to the individual as in a traditional federal criminal investigation. If an immigration judge orders them removed, it's done. The immigration world is completely different than the criminal justice world, even though it's still both criminal.
They have to provide a warrant. They have to have a warrant, and they have to show that warrant.
Yes, when you're talking, you're talking about when you do a search warrant at a house where a magistrate judge signed the warrant. Yes, you must show the warrant itself, but you don't have to show the probable cause that led to it. You can show the warrant, leave the return after showing what you took, but immigration is completely different. You have less rights because you're not here legally.
Gotta head out, but glad to know that women shouldn't be in power.
Hey, I mean, okay, well, hey, I mean, we got to do what's done.